Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Thursday afternoon, a very busy Thursday afternoon, especially here in the city of Memphis. A big day for the University of Memphis as they made a big announcement earlier today. Big announcement just a few minutes ago as Penny Hardaway has picked up a commitment from Fred Smith Jr., the forward from Briarcrest. We've got the Masters going on, some day baseball, a lot of basketball to discuss. So a lot going on around the sports world. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well on a day that, I don't think there was anybody not thinking that it was going to happen, really, on both announcements. The late, great Fred Smith's company and the logo patch on all the uniforms for his beloved and that company's beloved University of Memphis. Then no relation, Fred Smith Jr. Making the announcement to play college basketball at the University of Memphis. So both no surprise, but both real good to hear and have the confirmation of both big announcements.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we have talked a lot over the last couple of years about the commitment from FedEx, but obviously the jersey patch only kind of strengthens that and highlights that commitment from FedEx to Memphis athletics. If you missed it, starting on August 1st, college teams are able to have corporate patches on their jerseys, and obviously with that relationship to FedEx, you've seen a couple of other schools around the country announce deals. Memphis also announcing that deal earlier today, that all 19 men's and women's athletic programs will have a FedEx patch on their jerseys. I believe the jerseys that the teams will be wearing in the spring game, at least the way the statement read, will have the FedEx patches on them, but they will not be able to be used in actual games until August, so you'll start seeing those in the fall with football, some of those other fall sports. We'll see them in basketball and so forth. So definitely big there to see that. And then, like you said, the commitment from Fred Smith Jr., one of those where it felt like everyone was as close to 100% sure as they could be that he was going to ultimately choose Memphis, but it was a long wait and see. But now we finally have the announcement and the commitment, the second high school recruit to commit to Memphis after Cello Jackson made his commitment back in November. So two local guys, even though Cello Jackson finished his high school career down in Miami. They'll both be here next year unless something changes, but it looks like all indications pointing to both those guys will be in Tiger uniforms next year.
Two that you had to get, and the Tigers got them. Coach Hardaway got them. Congratulations. And I guess the first football appearance of the jersey patch will be Week 0 in Vegas against Dan Mullen and the Running Rebs.
Yeah, so it'll be a road game, but seeing
that'd
that on
TV,
yeah, and see that FedEx patch there will be cool. The university and FedEx, they have not been shy about their relationship, and we've seen it grow over the last couple of years. Last year with the logos in both end zones at football games, I thought was really cool to see. And so now that you're able to, I think everyone knew once this was put into place that you would see Memphis and FedEx form some sort of deal to make sure that happens, and obviously getting that done today. Big news, and will be fun to see. I know with the spring game, I keep calling it the spring game. I think they're calling it Fan Fest on Saturday for Tiger football. They're doing, I think, the first 1,500 fans in the doors will get a kind of shirt jersey with the FedEx patch on it. So they're going all in, really pushing it with Fan Fest this weekend. And then it's gonna be different to see those logos on the jerseys, but it'll be a lot of fun next year.
It will be. There was a time in the John Calipari years, and he had such a great relationship with so many, starting at the very top with Mr. Fred Smith, the late great Mr. Fred Smith. But John Calipari had just really wonderful relationship that every Tiger coach before and since should have with FedEx for all they do for that program and around town and employees and just everything that they do. It was really close. Dave would know this story better than I, but it was really close that John Calipari, and he went to R.C. Johnson and said, we're going to do it. FedEx kind of demurred from it. They said, no, you don't have to do all that. He wanted to have a one game with those colors of FedEx with in the Tiger uniform motif.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and so I mean, there's been that type of relationship. It's just now
He said, "Heck, I'll change the nickname if we have to."
Might as well, but now that you can actually have that outward relationship with these companies, makes it a lot easier, and it makes it a lot better for everybody involved.
I think that was R.C. Johnson and the administration and university's reluctance of we can't get in trouble,
Sure.
and back then just sneezing was an infraction
Sure.
to the NCAA, so they were very reticent to do it, but he was ready to do it then, and now you can, and great for the university.
Yeah, no, it definitely is great for the university. So 2 big-time announcements, and obviously now Penny Hardaway and his staff turning their attention to the transfer portal, and we'll see when they start kind of getting some traction on guys and start seeing some commitments. The only commitment I've seen so far for a Tiger that is now in the portal, Simon Majok. Earlier, it was announced that he is signed with Nevada. So a very weird, interesting story there. Would love to be a fly on the wall and be able to get the entire story, because he told reporters over the weekend when he entered the transfer portal that he wanted to stay at Memphis, and that it was kind of his agent's idea to enter the transfer portal. And I think it was Parthu Paja I saw with the tweet earlier today saying that when he talked with him, that he indicated that he had not spoken with any other teams. He didn't know what kind of his quote-unquote market would look like out there. And then just a couple days later, a couple days into the transfer portal being open, he is now signed with Nevada. So very fast there. Would love to hear how that went down, but he is the only, so far, Tiger that has entered the portal that I have seen land at a new school.
Brian, if it was the proverbial, it was the night before Christmas, what's the wish list, do you think, among Tiger fans, not of Penny putting together a team, but of Tiger fans to get some buzz? Would it be PJ 1, Brumball 2, DJ 3?
I would say so, yeah. I would say so. That's at least what I hear from friends of mine and kind of what I see on social media and different things like that. I think, because you've already seen that it works with PJ and you've seen that success, I think a lot of people would really love to see PJ Haggerty back. Yeah, and then obviously Brumball and what you've seen from him in the conference and in the American and against Memphis, he's certainly high on people's minds. And then obviously DJ Wagner with kind of everything, a lot of different aspects there, sure. SEC experience, the history there. There's a lot of reasons why people would like to see him in a Memphis uniform. But I would say it starts with PJ Haggerty. I don't know where Memphis will stand with him, and I don't know kind of what that will look like to get him. I know LSU is probably going to be involved and will be involved to try to get him. So we'll see what it looks like over these next couple weeks.
If you got a capable point guard, I would say somebody like Doug McDaniel. If you got somebody just that capable at point guard, and you got 2 of the 3 wish list, you're in the game.
Yeah, I mean it is. You start with that guard position and you try to get one of those big names, and then how do you build around him? If you bring in PJ, do you try to bring in a kind of more kind of low key facilitator, kind of more structured point guard, or do you just let him run the show? Brumball, I think you feel a little more comfortable with the ball in his hands as lead guard. Obviously, DJ Wagner running the point for Arkansas a lot. I feel comfortable with him. How would you build around each of those guys if you are able to land a commitment from one of them? It's a lot of spots to fill with Fred Smith's addition. Barring anything with Aaron Bradshaw, I'm not including him in this. You have 11 spots that you're able to fill for the Tigers. Only 4 guys right now committed to being back. So, there's a lot of work to be done. And, obviously you'd love to get one of those big fish. And if you get those, I'd be very curious of how you build around them. If you don't, where do you go from there? And how do you build this roster?
This is a question. This is not a statement. This is a question mark at the end of this. Rowan Brumball, are we sure he's that good, or was he that good in the American?
If you're just asking me in terms of Memphis, I don't really care. I mean, I want him to be. We've seen what he can do in the American, and that's
play more American games than you do any other.
Exactly, and so I don't know. I think there's a lot to that because obviously he spent the last couple of years at Tulane. Before that was at 2 power conferences. Did he just struggle there because he isn't built for that level and struggles at that level? Or was he just young? You know, we were talking about it with Kevin Sweeney yesterday, talking about some of those guys on that Michigan team where, you know, they really struggled at their previous spots. And was it just fit with Michigan, or was it that, hey, they just developed and they grew as players as they got older? So I hate to, you know, be kind of in the middle of, I really don't know when it comes to him.
And what if he gets somewhere and he has that year, which he's already had better years leading up to his last year of college basketball, and it really clicks like Dalton Connect?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And that's, you know, I really don't know what I haven't seen anything about Rowan Brumbaugh since he's entered the transfer portal and kind of teams that have shown interest in him. So I don't know, you know, is it, you know, a bunch of, you know, high, you know, power conference teams that are going after him, and it feels like, you know, he'll have plenty of offers to choose from, or some teams kind of picky of, hey, you haven't proven it at this level. I was on
I wouldn't be that picky.
No, certainly not.
Would not be.
But, you know, I've seen, I think it was evanmia.com the other day. They have him as a 5-star. I don't know what, you know, any of the other sites have him listed as in terms of stars. It just jumped out to me when I was going through the site the other day that he was a 5-star there. So it feels like he'll have a lot of offers. I feel like, you know, it will probably be tough for Memphis to land him. You know, obviously you have an assistant now on staff that can help things out, but it feels like he's going to have a lot of offers to choose from, and it could be a difficult spot for Memphis to try to land him.
Tigers with a logo, but we're the logo team today, aren't
Right,
we?
yes,
with
we
our
are.
Augusta National
Yes, we are.
hat
Master
and
Star.
shirt on. Your hat's great. I love it.
Thank you. Yes, this was. I told you I don't like taking it out because I don't like getting it dirty. But I was saving it.
You can't
for,
swing a towel these days without hitting
that's true.
a Masters logo somewhere around town.
That's very true. But yeah, I was saving it, waiting until we actually had you know, real action to whip it out, and wearing it today, planning on wearing it tomorrow and through the weekend as we got action rolling.
My two golfers off to a really stellar start. A collective 9 over. Bryson DeChambeau has 4 of the 9, and Minwoo Lee the other 5. Way to go, team! Way to go. You know what doubling zero is going to be on Sunday when I send out the results?
It's
going to be 0.
It's going to be 0. It is going to be 0. Yeah, I watched and paid attention a lot this morning. I have not been able to pay attention as much over the last hour or so, but the last time I was able to check, Bryson was starting to kind of blow up, and it sounds like things have not really gone
Triple
much better.
bogey on 11.
Yeah, I saw
And never
that.
was in the water. Spent a lot of time in the bunker.
It's hard to do.
Really
Usually there's some water involved somewhere, but yeah, it feels like you know, this course is getting some guys. You know, on the flip side of that, other guys that are finding success.
Some got it.
Yeah,
Sam Burns 5 under, Rory McIlroy 5 under. Everybody's been waiting on Sam Burns to win, and look at Rory. Maybe speaking of unlock, maybe he really is 5 under, and it was not one nervy swing shot. Oh no, what are you doing? That a lot of times he had on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, and it's a good point. You know, we talked about it earlier this week on Tuesday. I think it was when Doug Bell joined us about, you know, how different is he this year now that he's won it? And it's kind of he got rid of all those demons that have been haunting him year over year here. Is it a more relaxed Tiger? And I loved what Doug Bell said about it is, yeah, it does feel like he's relaxed, but he might be too relaxed where it's just kind of like, okay, I've won it. Let's just go out here and have fun on the course. But it seems like early here, he is dialed in an early lead, and we'll see if he can hold on to that and be near the top and in contention on Sunday.
Look at these names. You know, Roy McIlroy a winner, Patrick Reed a winner there. Other major winners like Jason Day and Justin Rose, Scotty Scheffler 2 times winner there. Scotty Scheffler's got a lot of holes left to play. He could end the day after 18, after the first round, in the lead. Gary Woodland, a U.S. Open winner, his wonderful story. He's having a good day. Shane Lowry's won an Open championship. You know what I said today when he chipped in on 13? Way to go, Shane. You shot 81 on Sunday last year for me. 81. A pro golfer shooting 81. I haven't let it go either.
No, clearly not. Yeah,
Xander Schauffele right there at 200. Fred Couples. Is it 1992? What's he doing?
Good Lord. Yeah, 2 under there. I gotta love it from him. Yeah, so I mean some big time names up here, and that's what you
really is.
what you expect and what you want to see at the Masters.
a lot of times, on Thursday we'll get the Gary Hallberg and the Who's He and Mike Donald, and they all kind of go away by the weekend. But this is a big splash.
Yeah, it is. It's a really nice leaderboard, and we'll see how it wraps up today and tomorrow, kind of going into the weekend when really all the fun starts. But it's been a really, really fun time this morning watching all this action, seeing these guys out here, and now we've got broadcast actually on ESPN, which is nice. A little hard today to find actual coverage of shots and different things. I know it was on.
Oh, that website's great.
The website's really good. Prime had it for 2 hours, I think, this afternoon. I was watching a little bit of that. I think they will also have it tomorrow, maybe. I'm not sure what it looks like for them throughout the rest of the week. But yeah, you have to go searching for it. It's not kind of like some of these other tournaments where it's all right there on ESPN Plus. I mean, you got to go to the website. You got to go to Prime. You got to really go and find it to see all of these shots at the Masters. But we'll talk a lot of Masters throughout today's show. But let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Grant Hall. He is at the Masters covering his 44th straight Masters. Just incredible. A Northwest Arkansas media legend, and obviously knows a thing or two about the Masters. So we will talk to him here in just a couple of minutes. Plenty to discuss with a really great start to the day at the Masters. We'll do that in our next segment. 3:45, we'll stay on that topic. We'll give you a Masters update, talk about some of these guys near the top of the leaderboard, some other big names and where they're at, as a lot of guys starting to wrap up day number one. At 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spa Track and the Front Office Show, he'll join us. We'll talk the NBA, as only a couple more days left in the regular season. We'll talk Grizzlies, but we'll also talk everything else going on in the NBA, as it feels like the biggest story out there is tanking. Players coming out talking about it, the commissioner coming out and talking about it and wanting to put an end to it. So we'll discuss that at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk Grizzlies and we'll talk some NBA. The Grizzlies, they were in action last night on the road in Denver, and for a while there, it looked like deja vu. It looked like the Grizzlies were going to go out there and beat the Nuggets again, but not so fast. They knew what they were doing, ultimately losing that game to the Nuggets. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston, he'll join us, talk Tigers. Obviously, a lot to discuss when it comes to the Memphis Tigers with all the news today, but also news over the weekend, last week. Plenty to get to with Greg. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Mo's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa Sale, it's going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Have you been dreaming about a new spa? Well, now is the time to buy. Spas as low as $99 a month with over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchase. $8,000 spas, only $159 a month with free LED lights and a waterfall available on most models. Head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime, live and local and with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Our producers, Lanny Schmidt, co-host Bryant, I'm Brett, and we're Sportstime, and we want you to be a part of our show. Give us a call at 901-360-8255. We're always live and always local from our Family Leisure Studios. And this hour brought to you every day by the great people at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it is all the Memphis news that we have gotten over the last couple of hours. Earlier this morning, the university announced that starting in August, all men's and women's teams will wear a FedEx patch on their jerseys. That means for most people, you will see that patch starting in that week 0 game against UNLV on the football jerseys, but that will go through with every other sport, and just highlights the
soccer really kicks the year off for everybody.
It does.
In mid-August.
Soccer, I think there's another sport in there that I always forget about that kind of gets started around the same time as well. But yeah, it does really get us going. But for a lot of people, when they turn on the TV, they'll see it on those football jerseys. But it really highlights that continued support and commitment from FedEx to the university, that relationship between the two sides. We saw it start a couple years ago when Fred Smith gave the big donation for the stadium renovations. Then the next year it was the NIL deal. Then after the House settlement, they had to change that NIL deal to kind of make it work more for the rev share model. And now with the jersey patches, again, just adds to the list of things that FedEx has done for the University of Memphis and the athletic department. So that will be a lot of fun starting in August, like I mentioned. But we'll see Fred Smith Jr., no relations, like you mentioned earlier, Brett, wear that patch in November. That's because just about 30 minutes ago or so, a little bit less than that, he announced his commitment to the University of Memphis, now the second high school recruit to commit to the University of Memphis, joining Cello Jackson. As long as both those guys stay committed and are on the court in November, that will be the most freshmen Memphis has had, true freshmen, on the team since 2023 when they had 5 out there. But after that, it's only been 1 here or there. It hadn't been a lot of the true freshmen, but we'll see 2 natives on that team next year with Cello Jackson and now Fred Smith Jr.
Brian, I know some were properly concerned, at Mr. Fred Smith's passing of would the company and the family continue to want to support the Memphis Tigers in so many ways, athletically and others. Well, I think that's been answered, and we love the answer. My top story, round 1 completed for some, underway for others, near perfect conditions at Augusta National. Sun splashed and resplendent, firm and fast. May have to pour the water to it by the end of the weekend, or it could get the greens could get almost out of control, but they can control all that. And the drone shots on TV, aren't they spellbinding? Forever, there was never going to be the blimp shots at Augusta National. That was ruled out a long time ago. But to now, just above the treetops, to have the drones and the technology with all that, Jim Nance, with one utterance, that rolled the odometer over to 41 Masters. That breaks Vern Lundquist's record of 40. I love the leaderboard. It looks like Sunday afternoon, but it's just Thursday.
That's right. Just getting started.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day continues to be the NBA as we get closer and closer to the end of the regular season. That will wrap up on Sunday, and then the playoffs will begin. The play-ins get started next week, and I think going to be really, really intriguing. The news coming out earlier today that Joel Embiid is undergoing an operation later this afternoon for appendicitis. So not good news for him or the 76ers, but what does it look like in the Eastern Conference? Some fun teams out there protected, some fun teams in that play-in area, and then in the West, we know how strong it is, how tough it's going to be for any of those teams to make it out of the West. The Thunder doing again what they did last year, looking like the cream of the crop. The Spurs not far behind, but then you go into that kind of next tier of teams, the next 3 or 4 teams that you never know could get hot, certainly have the players and the team capable of going out there and winning a couple series. So I'm really excited for all the action to get started next week with those play-in games, and then we'll get the actual playoffs. But for those other teams, the tank, it will be completed on Sunday, and then they'll start looking to the draft lottery and start shaping up for the 2026 NBA draft.
Have you ever had an appendicitis attack?
I have not.
You're lucky. I think I lead the world with appendicitis attacks to still have my appendix.
Okay, interesting.
And big New Year's Eve 2005 attack. I was getting ready to leave for the Liberty Bowl. Boy, it hits. To the emergency room. Had to pull the plug on going to the Cotton Bowl. And it was going to go to the Cotton Bowl the next day. It was going to be like January 2nd that year. two friends of mine that are doctors are standing over me while I'm being examined or been examined. One saying take them out, one saying leave them in. I'm always going with the leave them in. No surgery. Too many things can go wrong.
Well, yeah.
My night top story: Grizzlies accomplished last night what they needed to in Denver. They needed to lose. Those two wins since March 3rd. Why win either one of them? Chicago at home by 1 March 28th, and that game against Denver on March 18th. Winning is not the object, and it hadn't been since the shutdown of Ja and the elbow injury back in January. Those two wins really could cost lottery odds. Let's hope the biggest win of the year is Sunday, May 10th, with the ping pong balls falling the Grizzlies' way, and they somehow get in that top 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's going to be the next big date for all Grizzly fans once the season. I think it already is the next big date for most Grizzly fans, but certainly after that game on Sunday. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're going to talk the Masters. Grant Hall, he's covering his 44th straight Masters. He joins us next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never come
Saturday,
home.
May 2nd, Davis Wade Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do. Remember.
With special guests, Dijon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets on sale Friday at 11 a.m. at ZachBryan.com.
Think I heard you coming.
Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, Midtown. Traffic's really starting to build now, right on schedule. I-40 here up by Chelsea as you come past the 101 connector there on I-30 at Watkins and watching that build. Pretty good. Radar, it's out here. That's for sure, especially south of Memphis this afternoon. Be careful. 55 down through certain parts of DeSoto County. Those troopers are out. Hey, don't let the slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problem, come on over to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we've got to talk the Masters as round one underway. A lot of guys already in the clubhouse as we're starting to slowly wrap up day one. But joining us now to talk some Masters, he's covering his 44th straight Masters, a Northwest Arkansas media, just absolute legend. Grant Hall, he joins us now. Grant, thanks so much for joining us. It looks like a picture-perfect scene at Augusta National. What has been your biggest takeaway from day one at the Masters?
Yeah, it's just been a beautiful week. You know, there have been some weather problems, as you know, in recent years, but this one looks pretty good. It was cool. It was like 45 degrees this morning, but sunny, and it's going to get, I think, on up to the 80s by the weekend. So no rain in the forecast, knock wood, and I've actually been here. This is, I think I've been here 9 days. I came for the women's amateur because we have a kid from the University of Arkansas, Maria Jose Marine, who won that thing, and kind of became the sweetheart. She's just really a great kid, about 5 feet tall, you know, and hits it great, and made a lot of admirers. She was here Sunday helping with the presentation for the drive, chip, and putt, you know, awarding the 7-year-old girl, I think, that won. And so now she's back home in Fayetteville taking a victory lap, doing press conferences.
Well-deserved victory lap. She was just top shelf, straight, first class. She was just precious to listen to, and how gracious she was in victory, Grant.
Yeah, a great family, and she's going to go ahead and do the 4 years at Arkansas. Probably could go on out there and start making money, but made that commitment. She's going to get a degree, and so get to do this at least one more year with her next year. And Arkansas had a kid finish 10th, too, Reagan Zabilski. Not so successful with the men. Two guys that got in here, Nico Echeverria, who made a good run last year, shot 7 over today, Brett, and the other kid, Matteo Pulcini, who won the Latin American Amateur, was 8 over going into number 18. So looks like it might be a short week for them.
Yeah, but they've got some memories, but they don't have the memory bank that you have. 44. You got 50 in your sights, don't you?
I hope so. You know, the guy next to me, Lauren Smith, is 87.
Yeah.
And I talked to another guy named Phil Schaefer today who's been to 55 of these things. I was just talking to Jaime Diaz and Bob Herrick. They both have done 40 years here, I think. And Bob, by the way, has got a new book coming out. I just saw a copy of it about Jack and Tiger, so that's pretty timely. And but, you know, I think really the news today is probably Rory McIlroy shooting this 67. Jack Nicklaus said this morning he thought there was a chance Rory could repeat. You know, only Jack and Tiger, I think, have done that. Isn't that right? In the Masters to win back-to-back years. So Rory is the guy that has a chance to do that this week.
I love Jack Nicklaus, but I think sometimes he sets that bar to let's just see if you can get over it, big boy, like when he said Tiger was going to win as many as he and Arnie combined. That was 10. I don't think he really ever thought that. I thought he was just, go ahead, take a run at it, Tiger. And Tiger made a good run at it, didn't he?
Well, he was on a pretty good pace, and he got those injuries. And someone said, Gary Player was saying this morning that a Navy SEAL guy told him one time that when Tiger did that training, he would pay for it later in terms of his legs and his back. And no truer words, I guess, were ever spoken. That, I mean, not that it's all related to that, but he's had his issues.
Mm-hmm. We're going to have our buddy Dan Reardon from KMOX in St. Louis on tomorrow. He's in that same that same odometer count of you for attending.
I just saw Dan to talk to him at great length about the Cardinals a while ago, and he's going to hit number 40 next year. He's 80 years old, man, and I think he looks younger than I'm in my 70s, but he's still going strong, and we're sort of cautiously optimistic and encouraged about the Cardinals who were, according to Sports Illustrated, were supposed to win 69 games this year, and right now they're over 500. So
what do you mean cautious, really, Grant? On these airwaves, I picked them 2 weeks ago to not only to win the National League Central and win the National League, but to beat the Yankees in the World Series. And that was only my It was only my 24th straight year of picking that World Series matchup.
Yeah, I would say that Dan is slightly less optimistic than that. Like maybe 10 under 500 by the end of the year. But what I like about it is they're winning come from behind games. I think they've had more of those than anybody so far. So it's been fun in the early going.
You never want to push anybody out before they're ready. But this morning, and I said it yesterday, I was going to be watching very closely, and I bet you were out there at 86 years young. I can't imagine many more ceremonial starts for the great Jack Nicklaus.
Jack was asked that question by Scott Michaud, who's been around here forever too, and he indicated that he would like to keep going. The thing that got him today, he's had carpal tunnel surgeries on both wrists, like 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he said he was worried about hurting somebody. And sure enough, I think he sailed one over somebody's head. I didn't get out there for the ceremony, but I did listen to their 40-minute press conference this morning. Which is always fascinating. There were 35 majors represented in that room with Watson, Player, and Nicklaus.
Wow. Wow. We talked about Rory McIlroy earlier. He's at the top of the leaderboard at 5 under, but there was some talk about Scottie Scheffler coming into the tournament about not playing his best ball. But, I mean, you had to imagine when you're at the Masters, Scottie Scheffler is going to look like Scottie Scheffler, and so far, so good. 3 under through 9 so far. What have you made of Scottie to start the year and what you've seen from him today?
Yeah, I think that actually taking 3 weeks off before this tournament has been a good thing for him. Not since Adam Scott has the Masters winner done that and been able to win after 3 weeks off. But I think in his case, it helped. And of course, they had his second child along the way. It took about 9 days for anybody to find out. I saw Doug Ferguson of the AP talking to him the other day under the tree. And the next thing we all find out together that his wife Meredith had their second child. So he's in a good place right now. 3 under through 9. It'd be interesting to see what he does the rest of the day.
Yeah, I know it. He's definitely going to be one a lot of people watch. Guy, I'm going to be watching a lot over the next couple of days. Chris Gotterup, a really fun story. 4 wins on tour before making his Masters appearance. He's even through 11 to start the first round. What have you made of Gotterup over the last year or so when he's started winning all these tournaments, and what have you seen from him kind of this week at his first Masters?
I've got a good friend who really is high on him, who studied. He was at Oklahoma. I think he went from Rutgers to Oklahoma. I don't know how many people have made that path onto the PGA Tour, but winning 4 times in the last year or so is pretty strong. And I thought he would do well this week, and so far he's doing okay.
Who was your pick to win?
Well, I didn't make a pick. They asked for names, and I had the usual suspects with Scheffler and Rahm and McIlroy, and I can't remember who. I guess DeChambeau, but now he did not play well today. He was 4 over par. I saw him miss about a 9-foot birdie putt on number 1 that wasn't that hard a putt. You know how scientific he is about everything, and sometimes you wanted to say, "Man, just use your feel," But Rory, on the other hand, on the first hole, made a really good par. He was in the trees left and had to kind of punch out, and then made a really nice up and down. And who knows how much that could mean to a round when you don't bogey the first hole. So anyway, that's how those 2 guys started today.
Yeah, Bryson, he wants to turn everything into long division when he really should just be counting on his fingers and toes. Make it a lot easier than that.
Yeah, he's so scientific about everything, and the way he stood up over that putter, it just looked uncomfortable to me. I'm sure he has a treatise on why he does it that way, but he's pretty good naturally with golf. You know, he gained all that weight. Now he's lost a lot of it back. Looks good. Seems to be. He seemed quite upbeat early in the week, but you know he has to really monetize these 4 majors weeks because you're kind of out of sight, out of mind on the Live Tour for the most part. Don't you guys agree?
100%. The only time we ever care about them is when they sign to go to Live, and then when they play in a traditional major, and we talk about them being on the Live Tour. We don't keep up with Live week to week. Nobody does.
You know, Tom Watson said this morning that he thought guys that come back from that tour should have to go to the Corn Ferry for a year.
I agree.
Pretty hardcore about that.
I agree, and Patrick Reed's going to sail back on tour, and he might make it legitimately by winning again this week. Our guest is Grant Hall at his 44th straight Masters. Northwest Arkansas media legend, covered the Razorbacks forever in golf in the state of Arkansas, all sports, everything. Big Cardinal fan, as you can tell. Grant, after last year with Rory winning, who do you think the mantle now it's been passed to for the sentimental winner, for him to pardon the pun, get the albatross off?
You know, strangely enough, this may sound not right because Jordan Spieth has won here, but I think he would really be a popular guy if he could win again after what's it been? I guess it's been 11 years. It seems impossible, since he won here, but he had that great chance, and he was leading by 5 shots and made that 7 on the 12th hole, and has not quite recovered here, at least, from that. So, he had a bad wrist last year. I think he's pretty much well now. He's been playing a little bit better, and I've always liked the guy. I think the last time I looked today, he was about even par through 10, 11 holes. So there's a guy I'd like to see do well.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you'd be covering and following the Razorbacks with such a Memphis and a University of Memphis Tigers connection with John Calipari and his Tigers past, and now new coach of the Razorbacks, Ryan Silverfield?
Yeah, I should be asking you guys about those guys. Calipari is pretty popular. He's still, I would say, kind of on a honeymoon period at Arkansas. They went 24 years without going to a Sweet 16. Now they've been to 5 in the last 6 years, including 3 under Musselman, who I think probably doesn't get enough credit for the job he did at Arkansas. But this year they got caught short a little bit with, I would say, not enough big guys. I think they're going to try to address that with what they're doing. They have recruited well otherwise already for next year. Jordan Smith, the 5-star guy, and Sean Andrews' kid, J.J. Andrews, is a very good player in Arkansas. So they got basketball going pretty good. From what I can tell of Silverfield, the guy is really a hard worker. I was talking to some of his staff guys, and they've had like 1 or 2 days off since they've been here. And of course, I only saw a couple of spring practices and then came here. But from what I can just tell and read, of course, everybody's optimistic this time of year, and it seems absurd right now to be bullish on Arkansas football, but it can't get much worse, right?
Well, here's what we do know you got about him. We had a producer several years ago here at this station. He's now at ESPN in Bristol, Connecticut, our friend Johnny Hill, and he was a football manager for Ryan Silverfield at the University of Memphis. And Johnny, which he was just such a great young man, almost everybody would accord him this, but he said Ryan Silverfield treated him, a student manager, like he was the biggest booster in the program, treated him great. We know, Grant, when coaches do that, you got a special guy.
Yeah, and they've even reached out to the media in ways that, you don't always see. And this is an interesting story. When Sam Pittman was at Arkansas, he pointed out one time, it's before they played Memphis last year, that on Christmas Day, when Arkansas was practicing for the Liberty Bowl, they needed to it was, I think, snowing, ice or something, and they needed to practice. And he said Silverfield himself came and let them into the indoor facility on that morning, of Christmas morning. I mean, that's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it really is strong. I know a lot of people here are curious to see how it works out for him at Arkansas with the Razorbacks. But it's been a lot of fun watching the Masters. Grant, it's been a lot of fun having you on to talk about everything. Enjoy the rest of this week, and we'll have to do this again soon.
All right. Hey, thanks. I enjoyed it, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Grant Hall from Northwest Arkansas. And Bryant, he used to host a show in Fayetteville with Rick Schaefer, and it was on Monday nights only, and they'd go like from 5 to 8 o'clock on Monday nights, and I was a faithful listener.
I love that.
And he wrote for Northwest Arkansas Times and Springdale paper, and then the Democrat Gazette got into Northwest Arkansas, and Cardinal fan like us.
Yeah, well, hey, that makes me like him even more when you're a Cardinal fan.
I think it stunned him that I picked him.
Well, Brett, I think it probably should.
Why are people so stunned?
Yeah, it's a great question. They're rolling right now, Brett. I mean,
one out of first place.
That's
one
exactly
game.
right. That's
all
exactly
right. Lost,
I mean, I can't argue that. Those are just facts. Those are just facts. One of the hottest bats in baseball with Jordan Walker. I mean, man,
my Cy Young winner last night, McGreevy.
I mean, what more could you possibly want from them? But yes, I do think it still comes as a shock to some when they hear that somebody picked them to win the World Series. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, we've got to talk more Masters. We'll give you a Master update, take a look at the leaderboard, who's leading the way, but also some of the other big names and where they're sitting at as we are starting to wrap up day number 1 at the Masters. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Parker Trotz, a partner at NST Injury Attorneys. After a car accident, most people are overwhelmed. You're dealing with pain, stress, doctor visits, and trying to keep life moving forward. The last thing you should have to worry about is saying the wrong thing or making a mistake that affects your case. What many people don't realize is that insurance companies begin reviewing claims and making decisions very early. Statements get recorded, reports get evaluated, and once certain steps are taken, they can't always be undone. That's why having guidance early can make such a difference. One call can change everything. For over 35 years, our team has gone toe-to-toe with insurance companies and won billions by protecting people when they're most vulnerable and handling cases with care from the very beginning. Give us a call today. We'll review your case. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or visit nstlaw.com.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Oh, like roadside assistance?
Oh yeah, Progressive offers that.
Great. Do you have plans Saturday? My cousin canceled and I'd love to have someone to ride with.
Actually, we just do insurance, not riding buddies.
Cool, let's meet at noon. Actually, scratch that. 10 a.m., you and me, breakfast at a diner.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
Okay, so if you beat me there, get me the Lumberjack Special. We can share.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance may require comprehensive coverage.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business. Let me ask you something.
I bet it's Central Barbecue related.
It is Central Barbecue related.
Shoot.
You don't want me to ask you a Central Barbecue related question?
No, I mean shoot as in go ahead and ask.
Oh, you can be very confusing.
Ask your question.
Which one of Central Barbecue's sauces is your favorite?
That's a trick question because, Central Barbecue's slogan is smoke is our sauce, so you don't really even need a sauce.
Other than smoke, what's your favorite sauce?
I can't do all of them all. Mild, hot, mustard, vinegar, hot vinegar, sweet heat, all of them.
And that is how you make a Central Barbecue radio commercial.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, at the Masters, the leader, it is 5 under. Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy both tied atop at 5 under, both complete for their rounds. A lot of guys near the top final. You've got a couple still out there. Justin Rose at 3 under, Scotty Scheffler at 3 under. They both have a lot of holes left to play. So you could see one of those guys, maybe both of them, creep up, maybe overtake that 5 under lead right now. But it has been an interesting day. Some guys finding a lot of success out on the course. A lot of other guys really struggling. And Brett, you mentioned the kind of dry conditions out there earlier in the show, and it really feels like kind of those more veteran players are finding ways to overcome maybe those challenges, and maybe some of these younger, less experienced guys are kind of struggling with that.
Remember a few years ago, Brooks Koepka, he said, I don't think he was being cocky or arrogant. I think it was a fact when he was at the top of his game, he felt like he only had to beat 8 or 9, 10 people in the whole field. Well, this is even a smaller field than the other 3 majors. Oh, the big boys love this because this separates the wheat from the chaff. I mean, they like it like this, but everybody's got to play, or the winner's got to play 72, or everybody makes the field's got to play 72. Sam Burns at the top, round 1. We know that. Don't make too much out of it. I don't think he wouldn't be on my list of best players to never win a major. Because remember when we did that for college basketball coaches, and I admitted there's no wrong list, and I admitted mine for that list or where that came from, the golf world. I think you have to have a little scar tissue. I don't know that Sam Burns has necessarily had that, but one man's scar tissue becomes another one's gaping open wound, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I probably wouldn't put Sam Burns up there just because of how young he is. I mean, I think just kind of like Rory McIlroy. I mean, we talked about him all out, and that's a guy has been at the top of the sport, has been one of those marquee names of golf year over year. He's done it at all the other places, just hadn't been able to do it here at the Masters, and Sam Burns really hasn't come close to that type of success. But I don't really know who would be on that list of kind of, next man. It was a good question that you asked in our last segment.
Phil Mickelson was the leader of that for a long time. Well, that got tossed away, and I really don't now. I don't know who I would identify. I can't throw Tommy Fleetwood in there again because no scar tissue, no travails, no big Sunday heartbreak. But boy, you go through enough of that, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good point, and so I don't know who I would put up there, but I'm sure if we thought long enough we could probably
Sergio was there. He got
sure.
his.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. But it has been a lot of fun watching all the action today, and we will we'll see if Sam Burns is up there, and if he's one of the guys that can ultimately win a Masters, and not even have to worry about getting to that point.
Grant Hall talked about Jordan Spieth might be the new darling of getting getting one. He got one 2015. We thought that was the first of what 3 or 4.
Yeah.
He's still holding on that one, and he's had the scar tissue.
Yeah, no, I mean he is definitely the one where he was at the top of the game and then really fell off, and a lot of people. Really waiting to kind of see him get back to that point. I think still has a lot of fans around the golf world that would love to see him get up there. I mean, I've got the answer. I think at least Justin Rose. I mean that's got to be He got to be up there, right?
Has a U.S. Open,
Sure.
but there after last year, that may be it for them.
I mean, I just looking at it because I wanted to double check that I wasn't missing any wins, but 3 runner-ups and 15 top 25 finishes at the Masters. So, I mean, that's a guy that's been around there and has been very close, and certainly
and that won U.S. Open at Marion now 13 years ago.
That's right. Yeah,
and I think he's 45, 46 or so. Better get it done.
Yeah, I mean he's getting up there. In terms of maybe that kind of prime of you can go out there and win it. So I would, if I'm putting a list, he's somewhere, maybe not at the very top, maybe he's not number one, but he's somewhere probably pretty high up there on my list if I was making that. So the top of the leaderboard, it's a lot of kind of names that jump out at you. You mentioned it earlier in the show. If there's been a lot of times where not just at the Masters, but you get to close to the end of the day one or even end of day one, and you see those names at the top, and you go, man, I've never heard of this guy or that guy. Or you'll have that amateur in the top 10, but so far at the Masters, it is big time names up at the top. You mentioned Bryson DeChambeau. He has struggled 4 over for the first round, but he did have his 3D 5-iron in the bag today, pulled it out once and used it. So
who doesn't have their handy 3D 5-iron?
I mean, everybody's got it. It's their go-to club. But he
choked down on it.
Oh man! And you brought it up yesterday, and I hadn't even known that was a thing. And we said, okay, well, fun to have at the par 3, but tomorrow when things are real. But no, he had it in his bag and had it tested and approved, and he'll be, like I said, only used it once today. But if he has to go to that 5-iron, he's got confidence in that 3D 5-iron.
To each his own, but
yeah.
That's super weird, isn't it?
No, it's Brett. I don't think many people are going to argue with you about the weirdness of Bryson DeChambeau. He's different. He for sure is different. But hey, good for him. And I'm sure he'll have some sort of YouTube video or something, on Monday or Tuesday about creating this, 3D printed 5-iron, and he'll do a bunch of views, and it'll be a win-win for him.
I really don't want to be a butthead about this. I really don't. But it would be hard for me, as great a story as it would be, just like last year was. I don't know that I can pull for Rory on Sunday for how I know he did Memphis last year, and if he did it last year, he'll do it again this year.
Yeah, no, it's a it's a question you're gonna have to ask yourself. But hey, the beauty of it is a lot can change over the next couple of days, and he could be up there, he might not be up there. So
Roy should be right up there with the contempt and disdain of LeBron right now by people.
Yeah, no, that's you're right about that, and so we'll see if he's still up there. Come this time tomorrow, where is Rory McIlroy sitting? It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be curious how some of these guys adjust their plan going into tomorrow after they've seen the course once in actual action.
I'd love to get with some of the old timers and just ask them There was a great golf shop in Memphis, great golf guy named Bert Dargy. And Bert's shop was great and legendary, and at Christmas time would always have a keg flowing in the shop. To ask him about a 3D printer 5-iron.
Yeah, I mean, man, just
it would be profanity laced.
No, I know it would, and probably should be, but he's different, and he's certainly letting that side of him shine this weekend. But we need to get to another break, wrap up this first hour, and when we return, we're going to talk the NBA. Keith Smith from SpaTrack and the Front Office Show. He joins us next.
It's golf time. What's my first thought? Miramichi. Of course, Miramichi. Sometimes you need just to escape the hustle and bustle of life, and that's exactly what Miramichi will provide. It means the place of happy retreat, and I promise you, it lives up to its name. While it might not be in the heart of Shelby County, it's certainly worth the drive. It's 25 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Once you arrive at the front door, you know you're going to get an experience unlike any other public golf course in town. Let's start with practice
practice facilities. Not all are created equal, and you will find none better than those at Miramichi. The range is an impressive 12-acre space. It allows you to spread out and practice for those long drives. They got a great short game place. They've got a chipping green. They've got a putting green. They're beyond compare. You want to get better? You go to Miramichi. You want a great competitive golf course? You go to Miramichi. It's worth the drive. I love it. Miramichi.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Let me share the story about a man named Phineas who, as a child, survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, he is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or leave his home in Israel to receive medical care, and when sirens sound and missiles fall, he cannot get to a bomb shelter for protection. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life.
Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to his home, providing care he wouldn't receive, especially in wartime. Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, Phineas says, and now again they're helping me. As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, we honor survivors like Phineas, not just with words, but with action.
Give $45 right now to rush life-saving essentials to the vulnerable under fire. Call 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-IFCJ, or go online at ifcj.org. That's ifcj.org.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used? They've got it. With fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family. Driven to keep you on the road.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good afternoon. T-Dot's been out here cleaning up some debris here earlier around 240 around Mill Branch as that traffic builds in that area right now, especially going eastbound on 240 all the way over to Bill Morris Parkway. As you go outbound there on 385, just watch your speed headed out towards Fayette County. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, bring it to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start this second hour on this Thursday afternoon. We've got to talk the NBA, and joining us now from Spot Track and the Front Office Show, it's Keith Smith.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now to talk the NBA from Spa Track and the Front Office Show. A lot to discuss as we start to wrap up the regular season, but the big news today, Joel Embiid to undergo surgery this afternoon for appendicitis. His 76ers team, they're right there in that play-in mix right now, the 8 seed. This is not good news as the play-in right around the corner. What do you make of this news, and what does this mean for the 76ers in the play-in?
Yeah, my first thoughts are with Joel Embiid. I mean, this just stinks. Mm-hmm. You know, this guy has worked hard this year to come back from injuries, and now this happens. And this is just, you know, one of those things that happens. That, you know, a lot of people get appendicitis in life, and, you know, that so be it. But for him, this is just brutal because now we're in this position where that's it, right? His regular season is clearly over. They've only got a couple games left here anyway, so that's one thing. But if they're in the play-in tournament, that starts next Tuesday. So, like, you're, you know, and especially if they're in that, 9-10 game, one bad game, and that could be the whole season is over for the Sixers. So that's just, you know, a rough way for this to go down for them. And you know, we'll see, right? You know, that's, the bummer for Philadelphia is just this season has been much like last season. More success this year, of course, but, just completely ruined by injuries and now this case of appendicitis.
Something always seems to get him and them, Embiid and the 76ers. They do have the bad luck, Keith.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, like I said, for Embiid, you feel horrible for him, right? Like, this is a guy who's done nothing but try to work hard, you know, this year to get back on the court. And, you know, it just all has, you know, kind of now gone a little sideways here. Now, if we want to be positive, you know, he could be back within a week or two. And if they don't have the toughest schedule in the world to close, so if they can get a couple wins and maybe get themselves, what they really want to do is you want to get up to 6, right? Because then that's going to give you all of next week off until the weekend. You basically get another week for him to rest and recover, and maybe he can return at some point in the first round. But it's going to be a tough go for them to get through the play-in tournament without him if that's where they are.
Who do you think will get that 6 in the 6th spot in the East?
Yeah, you know, I really don't know. We're between 5 and it's like 5 and 10. Not every team can finish in every spot, but it is still completely jam-packed. The Hawks couldn't get a win over the Cavs last night. They were like milliseconds, fingernail from T.J. McCollum hitting an improbable half-court shot to send the game to overtime against the Knicks, and they're still now fighting with Toronto and Orlando, and you've got Charlotte in that mix along with Philly, and the only one we know that's going to be in the play-in for sure is Miami. The other teams, good luck figuring it out. I mean, we'll have a little bit better idea after tonight. We'll have an even better idea after Friday. But then on Sunday, when everybody plays, I think it's coming all the way down to that.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about this injury with Joel Embiid. He was a player that, you know, after the whole Giannis thing happened, he also came out and said that there were some things going on and he wanted to play for the 76ers, and, you know, they were maybe trying to hold him out. But the Giannis situation has been the big one, as he says that he wants to play, can play, is healthy, but Milwaukee is keeping him out. It kind of was the biggest headline over the weekend. What do you make of the situation with Giannis Antetokounmpo and, of course, now the big question about Doc Rivers and his future in Milwaukee?
Yeah, the last one seems to be the easiest one. I think Doc's answer when asked directly if he expects to be back, when he said, I've got 8 grandkids now and I want to spend some time with them, I'll let you figure it out. Mm-hmm. That basically says he knows he's done. And I think they're going to probably put him in some kind of advisory role or something, and that'll be it for him, coaching the Bucks. So I think that's where that one is headed, and I think it's going to be very much a mutual type decision. As for Giannis, we're still now playing this game where it's like, do you want out or not? Like, do you just not want to be the bad guy? Like, what are we doing? Where are we at? And it's, this whole I want to play, I'm healthy stuff. Well, then why did you refuse to play when they wanted you to play 3-on-3 to see what you looked like? Like, I get it. I think he wants to have an experience in Milwaukee with his two brothers where they all play together. And I can completely respect and understand that. But from the Bucs side, you've already missed time, multiple times now with injuries, and now you've got this knee thing on top. And for the Bucs, they're trying to protect themselves as well, because the last thing they need is Giannis going out there, makes an injury worse or suffers an injury because he's trying to protect something else. And now all of a sudden it doesn't matter if you want traded or not. Like, finding the trade is going to be harder because you're dealing with an injury, and it just, it's unfortunate this is where we're at, but this is where we're at with him and the Bucs.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before with kind of everything that's happened over the last year or so with Giannis, but it really feels like Giannis really wants to be the likable fan favorite guy that kind of never says he has an issue with the Bucs, and then just kind of tries to plant the blame on the Bucs as an organization. But you mentioned the kind of opening. What do you think that will mean for Giannis's future? And I've started to see some reports of maybe Taylor Jenkins' name being associated to that opening. Where do you think he would stand once that job comes open, and kind of how he and maybe a future path to a better relationship with Giannis?
Yeah, the interesting thing with Taylor Jenkins, he was very highly thought of when he was with the Bucs. Previously, as an assistant, by all accounts, had a good relationship, not just with Giannis, but with a lot of players on the roster. And I think what you can look at, if you're the Bucs, you can look at it one of two ways. Is, all right, if we're going to be this kind of, we're going to keep Giannis, we're going to go for it. Well, Taylor Jenkins has experience with the Grizzlies on those kind of teams. Or if it's going to be, all right, we're going to reset, we're going to try to rebuild around some youth and that, well, he's got that experience too. So I think, you're kind of covered either way on that. I certainly would not be really taking a lot of Giannis's preferences into play if I were the Bucs on who I'm going to hire, unless Giannis says, I'm here, you give me that extension offer, I will sign it, and off we go. And that needs to be where this needs to start. And if that's not going to be the answer, if the answer is even, well, let's see, because he's not even eligible to sign an extension until October 1st, you need to take care of, what's best for the franchise at that point, and, try to figure it out. But, yeah, I mean, I will say, I'm on the record saying, I don't want Giannis to leave Milwaukee unless, everything's gone sideways and that's what he wants to do. I would love to see him finish his career with the Bucs. We very rarely see guys go wire with one franchise, but if he's, going to say that, then he has to understand you're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team that, maybe you can get in the playoffs, but probably not, and, that's probably going to be how it plays out for the next several years, at least the remaining best years of his career, because it's going to take them a while to dig out from underneath some of the moves they made trying to put a winner together around him.
Mm-hmm. You talk about kind of that Bucs organization where they're at right now. They're kind of part of that, tanking group of teams. They're not, as far towards the bottom as a lot of these other teams, but that is the big talking point around the NBA right now. The commissioner continues to come out and talk about ways to get rid of tanking. I believe there's going to be a vote in May for what they're going to do kind of starting next year with tanking. But can you explain to me what happened the other night? Because I did not watch the game, but the situation with the Kings and Golden State with the intentional foul, because I'll tell you this, Keith, my guilty pleasure over the last 2 months has been watching the Sacramento Kings team play basketball. I mean, they are fun to watch. They've got some interesting names on their team. I really like Doug Christie, and nothing I've seen, I know they're tanking, I know they're not a great team, but nothing to me has seen, or that I've seen, shows that the Kings are outwardly going out here and doing things that are, finable offenses in tanking. What happened in that game against Golden State?
Yeah, so first let me say this. We talked about it, right? The East is so tight. We've got all the races for spots in the top six, spots in the, where we're going to be in the play-in. The West seeding is still very much up for grabs behind basically everything between the Thunder and Spurs and the Timberwolves is up for grabs, and then the play-in spots. And yet everybody's still like, the league stinks and it's all terrible, and everybody's trying to be bad, and I get it, right? There is some absolutely egregious tanking. So I just wish, I get it. I get where it is. Now with the Kings, so unfortunately, right, people see, and all they saw was the headline of Kings commit intentional foul while they were holding the lead to put the Warriors in front. And everybody ran with that. The foul that they committed happened with, I believe it was 3 minutes and 14 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So there was still 3 minutes left. The Kings were up 1. Why they did it was Doug Christie was trying to get to a place to use his use it or lose it timeout at the under 3 minute mark. If anybody doesn't know, you have more than 3 or more timeouts left. When you get to 3 minutes, 2 of those get removed, and everybody finishes with 2 timeouts in the final 3 minutes of the game. That was a change of pace several years ago to try to get the end of the games moving quicker. So Doug Christie told his guys, commit a foul. They chose to foul Steph Curry. Not the smartest move in the world. He's a very good free throw shooter. He made the shot, put his team in front, but then then they were able to call timeout. After the timeout, the Kings came out, drew up a great play, and Doug McDermott hit a three-pointer, and they ended up winning or taking the lead back, rather. Then later in the game, I believe it was Dylan Cardwell, had an over-the-back foul against Steph Curry when they were in the bonus, and that put Steph Curry at the line and gave them a couple points, which helped the Mavericks to a win. Neither of those plays were blatant tanking. Mm-hmm. When the NBA did their investigation, they came out today. Basically, what they said is, yeah, you made bonehead decisions, but they weren't blatant tanking. And that's an example of the Kings being the Kangs and Kangsing all over a game and doing what they have done for the better part of a couple decades.
Keith, what about this idea? And I need your help with it. You probably could modify it and make it a better, maybe a better presentation to the league. Let's tie something to the Emirates Cup, to the play-in tournament, way back in the fall at the start of the year, and or maybe even move that to this time of year. And if you win that, you're at worst in the play-in. You're at worst the 10. Now, if you play better than that, you've earned the 2. You're in, but that gets you in. And for teams like Memphis, you still have something to play for.
Yeah, those ideas have been thrown out there. I think the challenge is you still also need to have the motivation for the player side, because if you're the players, you're like, all right, we're at 10th and we're just going to get beat. We have to play one more game at the end of the season, and where we are. Like, let's say if it was the Indiana Pacers, get there, and if you're 10th, it's like, all right, what do we really want to be 10th for? But I don't dislike that idea. I don't want to move the cup to the end of the season. I want the end of the season playoff races to still be what they are here. And my big thing with a lot of the stuff around the tanking is I do think it's such a big thing this year because you had, with the Wizards and the Jazz, you had the pick protections, causing them to want to keep their picks. And then you had, teams looked at it and saying, this draft class goes all the way through 10. It is loaded with, really, really good players. You've got outstanding players in the top 3. Then you've got really good players in the next, from, let's say, 4 to about 7 or 8. Then you got a couple more guys that everybody really kind of likes after that, and some will say, it's all the way through 12 or so. So I think that's where the idea of, all right, we want to be in position. I think it is kind of unique to this draft class with some of the other things that we had going on, where it is, all right, and then you had a team like Indiana, no intention of tanking, but it was, all right, Halliburton's out. Then they had some other injuries. Everything kind of went sideways, and like, all right, forget it. This is the best chance we're going to have probably for the next half decade or more, while we have Halliburton add a really good player to our team. So let's just try to go about doing it. So yeah, I think I don't think any of the proposals that were thrown out there recently that the league gave are going to be the ones they go with exactly. Because I know enough teams are like, yeah, I don't like this, I don't like that. And they're going to have to work through some of those. So we'll see how that all comes together.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you about this. I had an argument with some buddies earlier today about the tanking issue, and they were, I don't know, they were arguing in circles about things I didn't even understand. But do you think there is a way to implement something? Like, is there something that can be implemented to avoid some of this tanking? Because like you said, I haven't seen a proposal that feels like would ultimately fix tanking and make a lot of sense. Is there something that you can think of that would kind of be able to seamlessly be implemented while also maybe fixing an issue if there is one there?
Well, if I had that idea, I wouldn't be telling you. I'd be selling it to the NBA.
That's right.
For a lot of money. But no, yeah, I don't have a great, solve for it. I'm also not as bothered by it as, many other people are. I get there have been some absolute extremes this year, but again, I think that is, kind of, that's where we are right now. I don't think that's necessarily going to be a thing forever, so that's part of it. But yeah, I think, when I really kind of get into this and look at it, there are things you can do. I think eliminating pick protection or severely limiting them would really, help. You wouldn't have things like the Wizards trying to make sure they don't finish any worse than, third worst record or any better than third worst record because they don't want to have it. Even if teams jump them, they don't want to drop their pick, back to the Knicks. The Jazz in the same boat. I think they were very clear of like, hey, we want to make sure we, give ourselves the best opportunity to keep this pick. So I think that would help a little bit. And then, it's tough because the fines and all that, those only go so far. I mean, these are billionaire ownership groups. And if you're telling them like, hey, we're going to fine you $100,000, they're really cool. I'll pay that. I would pay that anyway. Got better lottery odds. I'm not worried about it. The other thing I will say, too, is you ask any one of these fans from these teams that are tanking, and they're going to tell you, no, I love it. I want to have the highest pick we could possibly have. Now, does that mean they're buying tickets and going to games? No, that's where it gets messy, right? If teams start losing revenue, but then teams will kind of police that themselves. So I think it's just, kind of, be careful here. I don't want the league to do so much that all of a sudden it is like, whoa, you created these, 5 unintended consequences. Because the one thing I do trust in and know is NBA teams are really smart and they hire really smart people, and they'll find a way to make things most advantageous to themselves one way or another.
It has been hard to go and watch, though, Keith. It has been. Who's your rookie of the year?
It's tough. I'm still kind of leaning Cooper Flag, but if it's Con Knippel, I am not going to be upset with that at all. I think Flag has had the better all-around season. I think the things that he's been asked to do on a team where he has, a lot of the years had very little help have been really good, and he's clearly the far better defensive player. But Con Knippel's contributed mightily to a team that is winning games, may end up being a playoff team, and he's had one of the best shooting seasons, actually the best shooting season we've ever seen from a rookie. So I would go Flag, but I think it's going to be really close, and I'm really kind of splitting hairs on that one.
Yeah, I think either decision would be really, really good. The last thing I want to say about this tanking, I'm curious your thoughts on it, because it almost feels like the issue is maybe not, and kind of taking what you've said, maybe is not the tanking itself, but the perception of it around the league, and having this argument I was having earlier. I asked him, I was like, why do you get so worked up about all of the tanking? And he said, because I want to watch meaningful basketball. I said, well, then go watch meaningful basketball. Every single night, there's a meaningful NBA game, most nights on national television. Do you feel like the tanking and all the talk this season around tanking has kind of overshadowed the actual good, entertaining, meaningful basketball that's being played every night?
Yeah, it certainly has, especially here in the last month or so. Overshadowed it, and I get it. We had, last Friday, I think it was. Every game was a massive blowout. We kind of knew it going in. The spreads were already high, and then they ended up beating those spreads anyway. So that is, to me, I get that part of it. But then this is like how great that Nuggets-Spurs game was last weekend. Hawks-Knicks the other night was a fantastic game. Celtics-Hornets was a really good game. The other night as well on national TV. So when it is funny when I see someone like here in Orlando screaming about, oh God, these teams tanking and blah, blah, blah. I have to ask, like, are you tuning into a bunch of Utah Jazz games anyway? Because if you're not, then why does it bother you so much? And the real answer, I think to a lot of this comes down to is the gambling companies are angry because they want to be able to set lines that work. The NBA is now partners with some of these gambling companies, and they're like, hey, if we don't know who's playing or playing to win, it makes it harder for us to do our jobs, and that's I think where a lot of this is coming from.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think you're probably right about that. But some fun games coming up. Fun one tonight, Boston Celtics and the Knicks on Prime Video as we start to wrap up this regular season. Keith, enjoy these next couple of days of the regular season. Next week, we'll be talking play-in and playoffs with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're down to it now. I can't not believe how fast the season has gone by, but we're basically there. But thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you so much. Keith Smith with us every week from Spot Tracker in the front office show. And Brian, my idea about incentivizing the play-in tournament, the November, December tournament, you think much of that idea?
Yeah, I mean,
an automatic seed, maybe not 10. What about automatically your 7? Or does that cheapen it?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would probably only stick with kind of that last play-in spot. I kind of like that better just because it's, it's one of those where I think it's enough to intrigue some teams. It might not be, you never know. But it's not kind of way up there where that team that's in 7th, that's done a lot of work to try to stay in that 7 feels like, hey, we got kind of the short end of the stick here. But I mean, I like that a lot more than I like some of these other ideas out there that the NBA is throwing around. I mean,
you prefer play-in where they have it, or would you want it in other months?
I mean, the thing is I don't know if I would want to lock in a postseason seed, even if it is a play-in seed, with a tournament that's so early in the season because just so much happens after that. But I'm also like Keith, like if you are going to move it, I think you need to, maybe you make Christmas like where we have the quadruple header on ESPN. Maybe that's the start of the cup, and that kind of gets everybody. Like, and you do it there where you're wrapping it up in February, and then you have a better idea of where teams are, and then it's maybe have the championship game of the cup. We're talking too many different brackets and things. You maybe have the championship of the cup right before the trade deadline. So then that team that wins that, hey, we know we've got that spot. Maybe we don't want to unload at the trade deadline, and we want to see this through and get to the end of the season, but those other teams can still go and make trades at the deadline. I don't hate that.
How hard one? You ready?
All right.
The more prestigious banner, the NBA team. I can already do it with a straight face. The NBA teams hanging the play-in banner are our banners.
I hold our banners with a lot more respect.
Much more sacrosanct.
Yes,
no doubt.
Much more important than those play-in or cup banners for that matter. I don't
Does anybody get a banner for leading after the first day of the match? Do we hang any banner for that?
I don't think so. But
that'd be John Goen, 200 with Scotty Scheffler.
Well, good for him. Good for him. We'll see if that continues into the
only
weekend.
One of our picks under par.
Wow. Hey, I'm telling you, it's been very shaky for a lot of you. You're either doing really good or you're not doing so great.
I'm in mid-season form. I finished 10 over with my two guys. 10 plus 10.
Well, Brett, again, I mean, you're kind of in a spot where you might not have 3 more days, but you at least have another day to make up some ground. So we'll see what you can do there.
Maybe one day. Keith Smith was with us. He's always with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams like the Tigers and the Grizzlies, in that great location at Popper and Perkins in Laurelwood at 4542. Popper, Bill Jones and his team, part of the fabric of our community. Big supporters of all the hometown teams. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, wedding bands, 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. You just go into that lounge area, the golf zone right now. Often you can have a drink of your choice and often enjoy things right there at Sissy's Log Cabin since 1970 with all the great locations across the Mid-South. Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and a truly extraordinary shopping experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to another break. When we return, we'll continue the NBA conversation. We'll talk the NBA. We'll also talk the Grizzlies. It was a loss last night on the road against the Nuggets. We'll discuss it all next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The 2025 Range Rover Sport sits right at the heart of the Land Rover lineup, offering a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility. Smaller and more agile than a full-size Range Rover, it's a great option for everyone who wants luxury and practicality. Every model comes with 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive standard. Whether you navigate city streets or tackle rough terrain, Range Rover Sport has you covered. Every drive is powerful and breathtaking. The 2025 Range Rover Sport is the epitome of sporting luxury. Test drive one at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to you at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHBQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting to build out here pretty much on schedule. 40 east at times. Already a little bit heavy here at Sycamore View Road, pushing all the way out towards Fayette County on 40 going eastbound as it builds out through there at Germantown Parkway. And it's heavier than it was 15, 20 minutes ago here in the Midtown area, especially on I-40 here trying to get past Danny Thomas on the I-40 bridge, pushing over into Clinton County. Don't let a slipping transmission make things worse in your car or truck. If you're having transmission issues, come on over to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got to talk some NBA, talk a little Grizzlies as they were in action last night on the road against the Denver Nuggets. It was a 136-119 win for the Nuggets, but for the first half of that game, the Grizzlies had the lead, looked in control, and then the second half, the Nuggets turned it up and ended up coming from behind and winning that game. We talked about the line yesterday. It was at like 23.5 in favor of the Nuggets, and so I'm sure a lot of bettors, if they had the Nuggets, and the Nuggets didn't end up covering with that score 136-119, they were probably very, very worried at halftime and very terrified of why in the world they made them. Maybe some, who knows, maybe there was a Grizzly money line better out there that was feeling real good at the half. So first half, that was really nice, and then second half, it was the Nuggets that took control, and Grizzlies lose, Nuggets win. That's what everybody wanted to happen.
But Denver had to go all out. The margin ended up being more comfortable than how the game was actually competed. Jokic had to play 31 minutes, played 36 here in a loss.
Yeah, you mentioned it. This isn't, the last two times they've played the Nuggets, it hasn't been just the nobodies and, rest night for all the stars. Jokic out there 31 minutes, Jamal Murray 35, Cam Johnson 30, Aaron Gordon as he, is ramping back up 22 minutes.
They got all next week off, but still.
But, they had to throw their guys out there to go out there and get this victory over the Grizzlies. So they fought hard. I mean, one thing you can't say about this team is that they don't fight. I mean, they're out there and they're fighting every night. And you talked about a couple of those games they won that maybe shouldn't have won. I guess that's what happens when you play hard. You just kind of fall into wins here and there. But Cedric Coward, 27 points last night, 10 for 17 from the field, 3 for 7 from three, added 6 rebounds. He led the team in scoring. You had a handful of other guys with 15 or more points. So the scoring, it was going around last night.
Denver had to have it. The two previous games for the Nuggets before last night were both overtime wins, so they've had to go to the mat to get where they are, and they're at 52 wins, 2 games left, but they're not going to be easy. Home against Oklahoma City tomorrow night, and then Sunday afternoon when the whole league is wrapping up the season with game 82 for everyone. I know there's a couple in there with 83 from the play-in, but most everybody just with 82. They have to go to San Antonio. What's going to be San Antonio's motivation? They're not going to be the 1. They're not going to fall to 3. Denver needs that 3.
Yeah, and we just saw them beat that that San Antonio team last Saturday, and so they've already beat them once, and who knows who's out there for San Antonio in that last game. But yeah, it's tough when you're Denver and you need to have wins to improve where you're at, and the final 2 games of the season against the by far 2 best teams in the Western Conference, and I'll be curious to see what this Denver team looks like once they get into the playoffs. When we're playing 7-game series, they have the longest win streak in the association right now, but a couple of these games have been maybe a little closer than they want them to be in what many thought, but then they go out there and they beat a San Antonio team in overtime. We'll see what they look like Friday against Oklahoma City, but they've played some really tough competitive games, have beaten some really good teams, so they're a team that I really don't know what to expect when the playoffs start.
Can the Grizzlies lose these last 2? They need to at Utah tomorrow night, 8:30 tomorrow night. But Utah winning it doesn't do anything because they're pretty locked in for their odds. And then Sunday, what's the motivation of the Rockets? Are they still in contention for either the 4 or 5 or maybe even the 3 seed?
Yeah, it's the question that everyone has, especially with that next game against the Jazz. Like you said, it looks like the Jazz are pretty stuck where they're at. You've got Sacramento right there with a similar record. But they've shown that I don't even know if they're still looking at the kind of tankathon and where they're at in terms of numbers. I think they just say, we're going to go out there and do everything we possibly can to lose every single game we're going to play, and they're really, really good at it. Losers of 10 in a row. So that might be the game that you just can't lose. I mean, that might be an unlosable game for the Grizzlies.
I'd have to look at the schedule, but it was sometimes late January at minimum early February. And I said to Jonah Dillon one night at a Grizzlies Utah game, I said, they've got it down. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. They've won 3 games since early February, 6 games since the start of February. So they have the losing down, and then they only won 3 games in January. So that's 9 games since the start of the new year that they've won. They know exactly what they're doing. Obviously, magically all of their stars have had surgery and different things that are getting taken care of, so they just don't have a lot of bodies to put out there, and those bodies that they do put out there find ways to lose games. So that one's going to be a tough one, I think, for the Grizzlies to lose tomorrow night. But we'll see. It's going to be the kind of tank-off game, and who really wants it more.
For next year, do you want to see more of Walter Clayton?
I'm not as in on him, and I was not in on him when he was traded to the Grizzlies than a lot of people were. I'm expecting him to be on the team. I just don't really know how much I really want to see him in terms of like being a part of the kind of core moving forward.
What about for Jemai Meshack?
Yeah, kind of similar. Obviously one of those two-way guys. I don't know what type of two-way he signed in the offseason, if that's a guy that will be back on that two-way next year, if it was just a one-year deal for him. But, if he's got another year, sure, that'd be fine to have him back. We talked about it. I don't think, the Grizzlies aren't a team that's magically going to jump into the play-ins or the protected seeds next year. It's going to be another year where they struggle. And so,
process.
You've got to have bodies out there. And so, I think we're going to see, certainly not everybody on this roster, but you're going to see some of those guys in similar roles next year.
I don't think, well, I sure hope not, we're sitting here next year talking about full tank and 25 wins. But it could be partial tank and around 30 wins.
Yeah, it's just kind of where they're at. It's a lot of young pieces and a lot of young pieces that just haven't really played meaningful games together. And so those guys have to grow. And, yeah, next year, certainly, and we've talked about it a lot, will not be the all-out, don't win a single game, tank for your life around the league that this year has been. And so I don't expect them to be in there. I expect them to not be a great team. But I think next year you want to start seeing some sort of tangible improvements, sign of life, sign that these guys are growing together and playing better basketball from the start of the season to the end of the season, even if it's not resulting in necessarily wins, but just seeing this group kind of start to take shape of what this new era should be.
Rarely a bad night of sports in New York City, but tonight a really good one. In Queens, you got the Mets and the Diamondbacks, but at Madison Square Garden, at the Garden, you've got Celtics and Knicks in one that really matters.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It matters for the Knicks. Not at all for playoff seeding, but just confidence and do we really matter? Are we legit?
Yeah. No, it's going to be a great one tonight. It's a Prime Video game, so I guess that's technically a national game, even though it's streaming. But, we talked about it with Keith, and I fully believe the NBA has more of a perception issue than they do a tanking or any other issue that you want to talk about with the league. Because, again, like I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine earlier today, and he's yelling at me that tanking's terrible and the league is awful and all of this stuff. And I was like, well,
I loved your comeback, though.
Just watch the games. Exactly, watch the games. And when I said that to him, he was.
Now, this isn't the buddy that wanted to leave games early.
No. This is a guy, he lives across the state. But his response to that was, and I don't even know what he was talking. He's like, I don't want to see these guys have great stat lines on bad. I was like, what are you talking about? He made no sense. But the problem is, and the kind of bigger picture of that is, I think there are a lot of sports fans and NBA fans and different people that look at the NBA and see the big headlines of tanking, and they don't see the game that you just pointed out. That's going to be an awesome game and means a lot. That game happens with different teams every single night, and it's happened every single night this week. They're still good games. The NBA is still putting out a really good product with those teams that are going to be in the playoffs. We've said it every day this week. I think next week when we get to play in, the week after when we really get into the playoffs, that's going to be awesome basketball every single night in this league.
And, Brian, we talked about down the stretch of the NFL year, there was very little intrigue from about week or for teams that had played about 14 or 15 games, okay, maybe a couple of seed spots, but the in or out, there wasn't any. Nothing like it used to be, and with more in the playoffs. And I remarked, the NFL gets no criticism for it, none.
Yeah.
They send out that press release of, there are still 28 out of 32 teams with a playoff possibility. Some of them as far-fetched as the NASA mission.
Yeah.
But we buy right into
shield. It's the shield.
In the NBA, in baseball, doesn't get it either. Never gets that break from the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think you're absolutely right about that. And so, I do hate seeing it. And look, I understand it's not fun. Seeing a lot of these teams and what the year has been. But there is still good basketball, and that's going to be a really fun one tonight between the Celtics and the Knicks. Right now, the Knicks actually a 5.5 point favorite at home. The total at 212.5. You asked the question to Keith, and I want to turn the question back to you before we get to a break. Who is your rookie of the year?
I think it's Flag.
Yeah.
I think Sunday night did it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Flag as
but
well.
But I'm not going to be mad over it.
No, certainly not. Both have been incredible this year.
No, I will count it as a preseason correct pick, though.
Of course. I mean, you have to. You have to. That's how it works. But no, I think what Cooper Flag has done, pretty much all season.
With my Nuggets Knicks NBA championship.
Well, hey, unlikely, but you never know, Brett. Both in there. Neither of those teams in the tank conversations. That's good, but no, Cooper Flag has been certainly recently on an absolute tear, and I think that he is going to ultimately be that rookie of the year.
Whoa, are you seeing this about Estrella transferring from Tennessee to Michigan?
Wow, interesting. So
that's a double yo there.
Yeah, that is big. I know he had entered the portal. Kind of the announcement. Maybe right before that he was going to enter before the portal opened, but I did not know Michigan was ultimately going to land him. Yeah, Dusty May.
Enjoy your title. Don't be raiding Barnes' roster.
And he's been involved in some other big-time names to add to that roster, which makes a lot of sense. You look at what he brought in last year and what they were able to do, it makes a lot of sense that big-time players would want to go and play for him.
Michigan #1, just like Landers Ford in Collierville, the #1 Ford dealership in the Mid-South. Landers Ford, your trusted destination for a vehicle that fits any lifestyle and every price point. Seamless shopping experience from vehicle choice to financing and service, from the Ford Escape to the rugged F-150 to the adventurous Bronco. Every vehicle built with those Ford tough standards. Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck. SUVs like the Ford Escape, the Ford Bronco, the Ford Expedition, Ford Explorer, EVs, hybrids, everything for the future. Transparency and professionalism and long-term support, that's what you get at Landers Ford. No fine print. It's in big, bold pastels. What you see is what you get at Landers Ford. Oil changes, tires rotated. Go online and schedule when anything service-related, when it suits you the best. That's when it'll be done. It'll be done quickly to meet your very busy schedule. They know that at Landers Ford, and they are active in our community in Collierville at 2082 West Poplar Avenue, or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Shell Done gets it done.
Hi, it's the Herd. If you're over 40, you'll recognize this.
You're doing the right things, going to the gym, trying to eat right, but your energy's down and your metabolism's slower. That's not a discipline problem. It's biology, and it doesn't fix itself. Most men try to push through it. More caffeine, more restriction, more willpower. That's not the issue. Support is. I've taken M-Drive for years, every morning with my coffee. M-Drive Boost and Burn is built for this. Steady energy and metabolism support. So your effort actually works again. It's designed for everyday use without extremes or spikes. It's also the #1 men's health brand at Sprouts. So if you're over 40, the longer you wait, the harder this gets. Go to mdriveformen.com. The code, as always, is HERD, H-E-R-D. For 20% off your first purchase, H-E-R-D at mdriveformen.com. Or find it on Amazon or Sprouts. M-Drive for men who still show up.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brown.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 5. In yesterday's St. Louis Cardinals game, Jordan Walker hit his 5th home run of the young season. He hit 5 home runs in 12 games this year, only 44 at-bats. The number 5 is the big number because 5 ties his total for 2 years ago in 2024 and is only 1 shy of the amount of home runs he hit last season. 2 years ago, it was only 51 games in the majors. Last season, though, it was 111 games, 363 at-bats. In this young career, this is only his 4th season at the major league level. His season high for home runs, it's only 16, and that was in 116 games, 420 at-bats in the 2023 season. So safe to say, at least what he's showing right now, he will clear that 16 mark that he set in 2023. It's been a great start to the season, batting .295, has added 12 RBI as well. A great start to the year for Jordan Walker.
So your big number was 5, right?
5, that's right.
I'm not saying a sports time first, but a first in a long time, we have the very same number.
How about that?
But not the same nugget.
Okay, all right.
But same number. Mine's 5. 5 multi-major winners enter the 2026 Masters, still searching for a green jacket. Bryson DeChambeau. He's going to keep searching.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and Brooks Koepka. I don't know that any of those get it this week, but some of them are playing pretty good.
Yeah, some of them are playing well. I don't know if I'd put any cash down on them ultimately being the champion on Sunday.
You got any cash now?
Not a ton. I don't I have a couple bets out there. I don't remember exactly what they are, but I have
any
I have
over/under score type bets. Under
No. I think all of it's kind of like top 20 finishes, top 10, different things like that. So
I didn't mean to call out your friend that wanted to leave early that day for the Boise State game.
fine.
I know I've held that against him.
You can
for a
call
long
him out.
time.
He's a moron. You can say whatever you want about him.
Does he listen?
Yeah, no, but
Okay.
he's at work when we're on,
Good,
so he's.
good.
I can say whatever I want. I say these things to his face. So I mean, it's not like I'm hiding anything. But you can say whatever you want about him. He's
I don't hang around people that want to leave early.
Well, yeah.
You never know what you're gonna miss.
That's true. I mean, I try not to, but sometimes you get stuck in a spot where you got to go with the majority and the majority
when you don't have your own vehicle, that's when you get stopped.
That's right. Or well, in my case, you have your own vehicle. Well, I don't know if I have my own vehicle or not that day, but I was the only one.
One time I left early in own vehicle, but I was just so outnumbered. I think they were going to take over the vehicle.
that is understandable to say the least. We talked a lot of the Masters today. Still some guys out there is really starting to wrap it up. And still Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy leading the way at 5 under. It doesn't look like maybe Justin Rose, he still has a handful of holes to play. Scotty Scheffler, those two really feel like the only two that could kind of make that run to the top of the leaderboard before the day's over.
Big chance for Scheffler is not making eagle or birdie on 13. He still has he plays in the middle of the fairway on 14, and still with eagle birdie chance on 15. And after that, probably not likely, but they'll know he's on the leaderboard.
Oh yeah, we've talked about Scotty a lot, especially in these majors. If he kind of likes to lurk the first couple of days, and then Saturday, Sunday really pounce. But pretty much all of his game today was early. He had the eagle on 2, and then the birdie on 3, and then it's been all pars. He had the 1 bogey on 11, so it was real hot early, and then has just been playing good golf. Nothing too crazy one way or the other.
We all wanted to ask this around NCAA basketball tournament time: is Cinderella dead? You could almost ask that around the golf majors. I know J.J. Spawn wasn't a household name to everybody, but he was no Cinderella. It was no out of just a bolt of lightning out of nowhere. I'm talking about Cinderellas like Memphis Sean McKill when he won his PGA. Ben Curtis, Rich Beam, Todd Hamilton, and others. We've had those. Danny Willett at Augusta National. Not lately, though. It has settled into the familiar names.
Yeah, it really has. And you look up, and we talked about this leaderboard earlier today of a lot of big time names up there. Now you can go down, and there's a couple of kind of outsider names around T11 or kind of in that range. But you look at those top 5, 6, 7 names on the leaderboard. It's the big boys, and that's likely what we're going to see throughout the weekend and on Sunday.
Cinderella would be Michael Brennan.
Yeah, that would certainly be. I would say Michael Brennan.
It would not be Tommy Fleetwood.
No. But you have Brian Campbell. That would be Cinderella. He's in there. Hao Tong Lee, who I love. Hao Tong Lee. Hao Tong Lee learned English from watching Kevin Hart. Which not a great thing to do always, because Kevin Hart uses a lot of profanity, and so Hao Tong Lee now uses a lot of profanity.
I can't get near the first word Pal Gasol said he learned in English.
I would love to know. That would be an all-fair conversation.
Yes. Well, I don't even want to talk like that around you.
But that is my favorite fun fact about Hao Tong Lee, who is 1 under through the first day of action. He was in that first group bright and early this morning. I did not wake up to see the first group tee off tomorrow. I think I woke up about 7:30 or so. And
I was waiting for you to live tweet.
No, I was not doing any sorts of live tweeting. But we'll keep you updated on what's going on over at the Masters. Again, a lot of guys already done, but a handful of guys still wrapping up their Thursday afternoon. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour, get to a break, and when we return, we're talking all things Tigers. Greg Gaston, he joins us next.
life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do, and look, new friends.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. If you've been injured, the call is free, and you don't pay unless we win.
NST is the way to go. Call 68370.
NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or visit nstlaw.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-939-2525. That's 800-939-2525. 800-939-2525.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's heavier than it was 15, 20 minutes ago. Trying to get south of Memphis on 55, watching that build pretty good down through DeSoto County on 55, all the way down to Tate County with some radar down there earlier. Midtown traffic's doing its thing over here with that volume increasing quite a bit, 240 southbound at South Parkway. Bridal season, hey, it's just around the corner. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis, 7525 Highway 64. You always save money when you go there first. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Thursday afternoon. And we've got to talk Tigers. It's been a very busy day around Tiger athletics. And joining us like he does every single week to discuss it, we talked to Greg Gaston.
From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston joins us now to talk Tigers. And Greg, there's a lot to discuss, plenty to discuss. Just that happened today. So I guess we'll start in chronological order today. Earlier this morning, it was announced that Memphis will wear FedEx patches on their uniforms for all 19 men's and women's programs starting on August 1st. What did you make of that news? We know the strong relationship between FedEx and Memphis, but now that that's legal, very quickly Memphis and FedEx jumped out there to make sure once it's able to happen, they're going to have it happen.
Yeah, one of the first in the entire country, but I thought that was a no-brainer. That was going to happen once they allowed that. FedEx, obviously, a huge part of what this city's about and what this university is about. To have that revenue stream coming from FedEx continually is so important to the athletic department. So, again, not surprised. It looks real good. I saw the video with D'Angelo Williams narrating, and I think that that patch on the jerseys of all the sports teams is going to look terrific.
Mm-hmm. That video was well done, and the stadium really is coming together. You'll see it up close Saturday, won't you?
I will be there for a week from Saturday, and I've been over there, Brett. It's really getting there. It's looking good. They're right on target. It's going to be no delays. I just can't wait till it's finished. So I'm excited about looking at it as it progresses, but I'm really going to be looking forward to it when it's finally completed.
Yeah, I jumped a week ahead of time. Saturday the 18th.
Yeah, I messed that up earlier, and I meant to correct that earlier on the 18th, so next Saturday, not this.
Right. I'm not going to blame it on you. It's my fault.
No, well, but I said it earlier, so I was the first one to say it on the show, so I have to take blame. But speaking of that, and before we get to the other news today, FanFest in a week. It's going to be interesting how they're doing it this year, because from everything that's been put out about it, it sounds like it's not going to be anything like anything we've seen in terms of kind of a scrimmage. This is going to be a look of they're going to go out there and just have practice, and fans are going to be able to watch it. What do you make of this change, and what we'll be able to see on the 18th?
Yeah, it's interesting because when Ryan Silverfield was running the show, at first they had a modified version of a game, and then it went more to a game, although, again, it's never really a game. You see a little bit, a couple of periods, and then they end up having different drills and special teams things, and always have the fans involved and invested in this type of an event. I don't know. As far as the practice is concerned, that's going to be really interesting, but it's going to show you exactly what makes Charles Huff tick with his team, what he does in practices. So it's a different look at the Tigers, but of course this will be the first look at the Tigers for these fans. Those who have had the privilege of maybe being able to come over as a member of the Highland 100 to see him in practice, that's different. But for the most part, the bulk of these people will be seeing this team for the very first time. So an interesting look to have it be a practice. But again, whether it's a practice, whether it's a glorified exhibition game, scrimmage game, whatever the case is, the fact of the matter is you get your fan base involved with new players, get used to new numbers, new names, and a new coaching staff. And I think it'll be a lot of fun for the folks.
Greg, and that's just the way that all these games are going. The old-fashioned, the winner eats steak and the loser eats hot dogs. That's done. They're all eating steak now. And
right.
Are they transferring and play against you come September? So that's the way it's going. And I think you'll even see more of these OTAs, more of these practices, and places will be able to monetize it that might offend some at first. But, hey, how about a June? For people that are dying for college football, how about a June practice that's open and the price of admission goes to the NIL fund?
Look, who knows what's to come? And you're absolutely right. And I don't think people would be upset because they understand the importance of having different revenue streams. They know it's an arms race. So if there's things going on in the off season that they're allowed to do by rule and they want to do and can also interact with the fan base and make them more excited as opposed to you got a spring session, whether it be a spring game or a spring practice, as in this case, and then you don't see the guys until August camp, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you wonder who's buying tickets. Are fans dialed in for the football season? Well, if you have something maybe in the middle of the summer or sometime early in camp, whatever the case may be, I think the more they're engaged, the more they're excited about watching the product. So, and the fact, like I said, with the arms race going on, Brett, it makes a lot of sense that maybe they will do something again within the rules and regulations of what they're allowed to do in the off season. But I think that's a possibility.
And the more they allow to the media to tell these new player stories and this new coaching staff, their story and their background, and you get some familiarity about them, regardless of sport, football or basketball or baseball, any of the sports, then you do that, then it's less of a desire to fill in the blanks by the media. Because if they don't know, they still have to write something about it, but to know and to have access makes the far better product.
Well, you hit it on the head right there. The unfortunate thing is I think we're going more away instead of coming closer to allowing media that opportunity to go in there and tell these stories. I think most programs around the country are a lot more guided, whether it be paranoia or whatever the case. I'm not saying that will be this way with Charles Huff and the University of Memphis, but I know the access right now is not that great, and I don't know what it will be during the season. But you're absolutely right. The more chances that the media has to tell stories, the more that people can attach themselves to these players, these great stories, what they can look forward to during the season, and be more in tune with what these guys are all about, as opposed to just you see them on a Saturday for the game and that's it. You want to learn more about them. And the way you've always been able to do that is through, one, media stories, but two, also personal appearances, things of that nature, whether it be autograph sessions, autograph signing sessions. They need to do more of that. I know the coaches are now, especially the University of Memphis, going to be more involved in community, getting out there, selling the product and their specific product, their team. I think there'll be more of that, but it would also be nice to see, especially in this era of NIL, the players out there more accessible in the community. But again, I agree with you 100% as far as the media being allowed to tell those stories. We would love to have players and assistant coaches and coordinators on our shows all the time to tell that story. It's just, I don't think it's ever going to go back to that where it once was, when practices were always open for the full practice for media.
I can tell you a story at Ole Miss. I'll name the player, Quinshawn Judkins. He turned down coming on with us after a post game. It was his last year there, and NIL was big, and he said no. And somebody close to him said, "No, you need to go do that and not have your hand out for everything, because when you get to the pros, for people that you might be advertising a shoe or something, and for people to get to know you, you're going to have to talk to the media."
Absolutely, Brett. That's 100%. Did he end up getting talked into it or not?
He did. He later came back and after the Egg Bowl and on the air apologized for turning us down earlier in the year.
Yeah, and that's the scary. Well, one of the scary parts, obviously, of the world of NIL is that, as you said it, and you're exactly right, there will be some athletes that are only going to do that if their palm is greased, and that's not the way to do it. Certainly you want to be paid for your hard work, your blood, sweat, and tears, but you certainly have to be able to be willing to do things out there just to connect again with the fan base that they know, hey, man, he's a good guy. Look at this guy going out there and doing this. And so far with the guys I've seen that I've interacted with after games on the sidelines for Tigers and things of that nature, post-game for basketball, I don't think we've ever been turned down. So I think for the most part, they look at it as a privilege to be able to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. Greg, I know the hottest position with this football team right now is the quarterback position. Everybody curious who's going to emerge. Always is. And certainly this offseason when you know you're going to have a new face back there. But outside of the quarterback position, What position group have you been most intrigued with this spring, kind of looking forward to seeing what they'll bring to the field?
I'm intrigued by the receivers because all the emphasis was since Charles South got here was speed. Speed. So they went out and they got some burners. So that's the one that intrigues me the most. I want to know who steps up. There's not a lot back from last year. There's a couple of receivers. Brady Cluse is a guy that's back who is more of a bigger possession receiver, very good receiver, but not the speed merchants that they brought in. So I want to see that. I'm certainly entrenched in what's going on with that. I'm also, now I've had a chance to go over to a few of these practices, and I'm really impressed so far with that defensive front. Remember, they're going to that four-man front, as you know, and to have some of the quality athletes that they have on the defensive line, that's going to dictate a lot. So that would be that. I'm not as intrigued. I'm more intrigued with the receivers because I'm not sure who's going to step up and be the guys. But on defense, on that defensive line, I think they're pretty deep. I think they're going to be very formidable. So those are two areas I'm looking at very carefully.
For the big catch, for Cluse's great catch last year, where were you, Greg? Were you in that end zone or were you near it?
Yes, I was. It was
right at your feet.
Well, not quite at my feet, but it was close. It was close, Brad. It was so acrobatic, and he had
see a better whatever.
Catches. He had one that wasn't as good as the one we're talking about, referring to. But my gosh, that was a great catch. But he had another one. He's got really good hands, and the fact of the matter that he's back, I think, is very positive because I know again. They want to get a lot of the receivers. I don't know them that well. I'll learn about them as time goes on. But to have a receiver that you know is almost Blitnikoff-esque with this stickum, even though he doesn't use the stickum, his hands are that good. You want to have those type of receivers. So, yeah, I like Cluse. I think getting him back was big.
No, I think really, really big. We're talking Tigers with Greg Gassney. He joins us every single Thursday to talk Tigers, and it's brought to you every week by Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis. They have serious vans for serious work at 4430 American Way. They're the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet, new or used? Well, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter van headquarters. Give them a call, 901-237-9302, or online at sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road. Well, we talked about the big news this morning. The big news this afternoon, Penny Hardaway has landed the commitment of four-star local product Fred Smith Jr. He made that announcement a little after 2:30 over at Briarcrest. It's a guy that a lot of people assumed and have thought for a while would end up at Memphis, but now actually seeing him commit to Penny Hardaway and this program. What do you make of him as a player and this addition?
I think it's huge. I think it's absolutely huge. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, Fred's going to come in, he's going to be the best player in the country. Fred is going to be a very, very good player because he's a matchup nightmare for teams. He's strong. He's got a great wingspan and obviously productive. Two-time Mr. Basketball in the state of Tennessee, two-time state champion at Briarcrest. The fact that Kenny has gone the high school route back to his old stomping grounds, if you will, to bring in Fred Smith and Cello Jackson, a nice tandem that you hope you can build on and keep for several years. And who knows in this age of the transfer portal. But, guys, I think that was so big because I started to wonder whether or not he would follow through. That was the rumor, certainly, that it was going to be Memphis, and then it started to wane a little bit. As time went by, I wondered who else was stepping up. But to be able to know that this was going to happen, I think is fantastic. A local guy who wants to play for the local team. Doesn't hurt to have the name Fred Smith, a name synonymous with the city of Memphis, right? That's absolutely perfect. And by the way, a shameless plug, he will be on mornings tomorrow at 9:30.
Oh, great.
Looking forward to talking with Fred Smith.
That'll be a lot of fun.
And I don't know if you want to ask him this, but I wonder what his price range and the same for Cello. What does a high school star cost now? Because, we know what We know what Estrella, or we think we know Estrella was very expensive for Michigan to get him from Tennessee in the last hour or so, and we know what Mara was last year from UCLA to Michigan. We know with the experienced players. I just wonder what straight from high school to college, how expensive they are.
Yeah, I probably won't ask him that, but I am curious. I am curious too, Brett. I mean, we hear so many different figures for guys, and I don't know what's accurate, what's not accurate.
I write most of it off as inaccurate, Greg, because I know back in the days of the under the table, the funny money, the more drinks they got, the more zeros got added on what it cost, and I know it was not true then.
Yeah, I'm with you. I tend to lean toward more inaccurate figures because how many are getting it from the horse's mouth? Do they really, really know? But I don't know. It's a great question.
And why would you tell it?
You probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't. You don't want to give away your poker hand, right? You don't want to give away what you're going for.
Because all that can do is disrupt the locker room.
Right. You do not want to have that. You want to set yourself up for the future, whether it be with your current program or if you're moving on somewhere else. And that's just, I know people hate to hear that, but that's just the way it is. That's the lay of the land. But we were talking about this on, I think yesterday or 2 days ago on our show in the mornings. I would love to be able to pick the brain of somebody who's a general manager or deals with the financial breakdown of a team and what they have to offer and how they figure it out. When you go into the start of recruiting with the portal just opening, how do you come to the conclusion, all right, we're going to go after this guy. It's going to probably be $2 million, but if we go $2 million here, we only got $50,000 for this guy and $500,000 for this guy, depending on what school you're from and how much money you have to play with. I think it's just fascinating to be able to deal with that. I don't think I'll ever find out, but I would love to know the intricacies.
And, Greg, you got to hold back a little cash for everywhere. It's not just it's everywhere for that player that's maybe overproducing of his initial number. He wants a little more something as the year's going along, and NCAA tournament time, college football playoff time. You want to guarantee me in the lineup, I need a little more.
Yeah, you may have to hold back, and you also want to make sure that you have enough to fill a roster. If you commit too much and these guys say yes, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, well, we only have 8 players and we don't have any more money. We better figure out some money. So, yeah, it's a fascinating thing. But as far as the high school guys, I don't know. I mean, Fred certainly is a top 100 4-star guy. He's not a top 10 guy, but I'm sure he demanded, pretty good change. But he just seemed like a guy who, again, I don't know him personally. I'm looking forward to talking to him for the first time, but just seems like a guy's got his head screwed on straight.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And Greg, for those players that at college football playoff time or NCAA tournament time, I know that this would be offensive to a lot of people out there, but this is the way of the world. This is how it goes down. If I'm that guy and they go, well, we're out, the budget's empty, is the coach broke?
Give me a little from the coach's budget, from his personal one. Yeah. I mean, who knows what they ask for, right? I'm sure there are some incredible asks, from the inner circle, whether it be the agent, whether it be the parents, whoever is the guardian for those players. I guarantee you, because I'm sure there were wild asks even before it was legal when players were putting their hands out for some kind of compensation. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that now is legal. Hey, look, I want this. Give me a car, too. Mm-hmm. I want this. I mean, who knows what they're asking for now?
Oh, yeah. It's
one of my favorite stories ever. Greg, I know you know him well. Lou Strasburg, who watched All the Money for the University of Memphis, they're in New York, and at one of those big December tournaments or MTs, something, and according to the story goes that Joey Dorsey had a huge room service bill for food and for fresh squeezed orange juice. Wherever they were staying, Waldorf, wherever they were staying, and goes to Calipari and says, hey, we got an issue here. He goes, what's the problem? He tells him, and it was like $17, which was outrageous at the time for an 8-ounce fresh squeezed orange juice. And that John told him, he said, let me tell you something. As long as he's getting 17 and 12 a night, keep sending orange juice to him.
That's good.
Yeah, not a surprise. I was on a lot of those trips, so I know what you're talking about.
Greg, before we let you go, we've talked a lot about Fred Smith, who will be a part of this roster next year. This staff now looking at the transfer portal to fill out the rest of this roster. And while we've seen a lot of interest shown from Memphis on a lot of different guys, I'm curious, are we ever going to hear publicly one way or the other about Aaron Bradshaw? He's the only guy that we've heard nothing about, and still, with the transfer portal open for a couple of days already, still no word publicly about what his future holds.
Yeah, we may not hear it from the horse's mouth, but I think we'll certainly hear it from somebody. Somebody will be reporting that he's officially in the portal or whatever the case may be with him. I can't imagine that the time that has gone by now that he's back in the fold. I know Jason Munz has said several times that what he's hearing is that he probably will not be back. So I think you'll probably in the next few days. Remember, you got the 2-week period, but I would think in the next few days, maybe early next week, you hear that he's officially in the portal. I would think that we'd probably hear something on him, but it is kind of a mystery, isn't it? Everybody else we know, 2 that are coming back, the rest that are gone, and then one that's just sitting there in limbo right now.
It's weird. It definitely is. But we will see what happens over the next couple of days, and who knows? Maybe in the next couple of days we start seeing some guys maybe setting up visits or maybe even committing to the program. But Greg, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
You too, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Greg. Greg Gaston.
Thank you, Greg, so much. Thank you so much.
Always fun when he joins us. And again, a reminder, they'll have Fred Smith Jr. on their show tomorrow morning, Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. I believe fun. He said 9:30 a.m. for that interview with Fred Smith Jr. But make sure you catch the whole show from 7 to 10.
And if you miss it, it'll be up at featured audio.
Yeah, so there will be multiple ways to go.
But listen live.
Find it. That's right. But
that's why we're live and local.
That's right. That's exactly why we're live and local. So definitely, you'll have multiple ways to hear that interview, but I know it's going to be some good stuff and kind of for a lot of people, their first time hearing from Fred Smith Jr. after his commitment earlier today. Well, we're going to get to a break in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984. Their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender. Available in multiple models to fit your needs, the Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. Head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's go ahead and grab another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins, his late father, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
It's tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Here's another. 1 in 4 honest, hardworking, tax-paying Americans has been a victim of identity theft. But it's not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal info and alerts you to threats you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, backed by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Package. In fact, restoration's guaranteed your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. For tax season and beyond, join now and save up to 40% off your first year. Promo code HERD. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to LifeLock.com, promo code HERD for 40% off. Terms apply.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never come.
Saturday, May 2nd, Davis Wade Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Dijon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets on sale Friday at 11 a.m. at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still a lot of volume out here, especially in the eastbound lanes of I-40 coming past Sycamore View Road, pushing on out towards Germantown Parkway into Fayette County, where there's been radar scattered down I-40 out there in parts of Fayette County. It seems like on and off all afternoon long. Trying to get south of Memphis right now. It's heavier than it was 15-20 minutes ago on 55 going southbound through South Haven. Don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions right now with 2 convenient locations here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending and really a couple things trending. We got the Masters wrapping up round one. Also, a lot of Tiger news out there today. We talked earlier about the FedEx patch that will be put in place to start August, and also the commitment by Fred Smith Jr. But I want to point this out, a really cool story over at the Commercial Appeal that our friend Jason Munns did. It was posted yesterday, but he went through and looked at all of the transfers that Penny Hardaway has brought in since taking the job and graded everyone as a hit or a miss. Now, he even went even more in detail of the hits and used his baseball terminology and kind of single, double, home run, what kind of hit they were. Went through every single transfer that Memphis has brought in, and when he tallied all of them up, he ended up getting 17 hits, including 4 home runs, 21 misses, and 3 pushes, which puts Penny Hardaway's hit rate, with no penalty for a push, at 44.7%.
Okay, I did not see this. This is fascinating. So how many 4 home runs?
4 home runs.
Kendrick had to be one.
Kendrick was a home run, I believe.
Haggerty had to be one.
Haggerty was a home run. Let's see. DeAndre was a home run. So that's 3 of the home runs.
Who's the 4th home run?
Let's see. David Jones was a double. I love it.
That's some tough scoring there, Jason.
PJ Haggerty's a home run. Tyrese Hunter is a triple, and Dane Danger is the 4th home run. So yeah,
wow! And Jason watched every single minute of every single game. I thought Tyrese Hunter was a home run.
Yeah, and said on a team that included big stars, Hunter might have been the most important player, but give him a triple. Hey, Brett, I don't know about you, but sometimes I watch a triple. I think it's almost more impressive than a home run. I mean, I'm just saying.
Very exciting play. I agree.
Play. But yeah, I mean, because I was.
Jason's a tough grader.
He is.
He doesn't believe in the Hall of Good, does he?
No, he certainly does not. But yeah, I saw that he had this story up yesterday, and so last night was kind of the first time I was able to take a look at it, and I kind of went through and started reading, and then it kind of took me a couple players to realize he was doing the baseball thing with what type of hit it was, and I was like, oh, this is great. And so
it is great.
Some really good stuff over there. Make sure you go and check it out over at the
Who was the big miss?
Well, there's a lot in here that
well, who was the big miss from big expectations? I mean, look, last year, I don't want to name any names, but there's some you weren't expecting anything from, and you didn't get much from them.
I'd say Quinterly probably,
no doubt,
would be the biggest miss. Coming from Alabama and being a key part of that Alabama
and to
team.
Hit early and have it rolling, and then just really, That at SMU, I can never get that out of my head about him when he would not run back on defense.
Yeah, and so I would say I'm trying to scroll through and see all the names here and kind of see if there's anything that tops that. But I would say Quinterly would probably be the biggest miss in terms of guys that Penny's brought
I think
in.
Bradshaw was a miss.
And he put Bradshaw as a miss as well, and kind of had a lot of them grouped together. A lot of guys on this past year's team that just all were misses, and he lumped them together. Sincere Parker, Aaron Bradshaw, Zach Davis, Theron Osilla, Ashton Hardaway, Curtis Givens III, Quante Berry, Son Abdul-Hakim, and Tariq Ingram.
And it built to a miss year, but now the new year begins.
Yeah, and we'll see what they do. Obviously, with William Wharton and Julius Thedford set to come back, the 2 freshmen that you're bringing in. It sounds like, and we talked about it with Greg Gaston, that soon Aaron Bradshaw will probably make it public that he's entering the transfer portal. And so that gives you 11 spots if you're going to fill all 15. It sounds like, and I know Jason Munns has done some reporting on this, it doesn't feel like Penny Hardaway will use all 15 spots this year, that he'll keep a couple open. So, it's going to be curious. I know, all the big names, we talked about it to start the show, of PJ Haggerty and Rowan Brumball and other guys out there that are certainly, DJ Wagner, some big names out there in the portal that, a lot of people would love to have on this Tiger team. And so, we'll hopefully start to see over the next couple of days, over the next week, if they can make up some ground on a couple of those guys and maybe land one of those big fish in the portals.
And I have no problem at all with not having all 15 spots filled. a lot of places are doing that. You got to be careful with it, but a lot of places are doing it for the short-term budget aspect of it and the long-term in traveling people.
Yeah, no, it's a
money's tight everywhere.
It is, and so I don't know what they'll ultimately do. And kind of in addition to that, Penny Hardaway has shown that he it kind of likes at times, if he needs to have that flexibility. If he needs to go out there and add a midseason acquisition and add somebody that maybe didn't get picked up out of the portal. He's already done it twice in his career. Not saying that that's going to be an every year type of thing, because that's a very rare instant. But to kind of have that flexibility available with a roster spot open, and maybe before the season starts, we saw it this year with a couple of guys. He had a spot or two open, looked at the roster, said we could really add another body at this position just to give us more depth at break glass if we needed it, and they went out and brought in a couple of pieces to kind of fill that role. So, it's going to be fascinating to see how he approaches it. There's guys out there that have already, it's been clear that Memphis has shown interest in him. I haven't seen anything. I know, we've heard that PJ Haggerty has certainly, they've had interest on him. I don't know about Rowan Brumball. We talked about it earlier. I think it will be pretty tough to land Rowan Brumball for Memphis, but we'll see with PJ Haggerty. We'll see with DJ Wagner. Obviously, those two guys have a little deeper relationship history with the program than Rowan Brumball does.
Now, almost after one day, this Masters leaderboard, again, it looks like a great Sunday leaderboard. Why wouldn't this keep up the rest of the weekend? Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy both in at 5 under. Burns, everybody's been waiting for him to win one, and Rory McIlroy going for back-to-back. Kurt Kitayama, Jason Day, Patrick Reed, and Justin Rose all at 3 under. Well, Kitayama hadn't won a major, but Day, Reed, and Rose, they have at 2 under. Lowry, Schauffele, Scheffler, all major winners, very familiar. This is the familiarity leaderboard, isn't it? Brooks Koepka at -1.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of big names, at the top of this leaderboard, and so I think a lot of people are really happy with the way day one went. But I mean, even some of these guys around the top, I mean, you're seeing them hit some shots that you can tell right when they hit it that they are not happy about it at all. Scotty had a swing about 15 or so minutes ago that you could tell when he hit it he was not happy with it, and then you saw the result and you understood why he wasn't happy with it. So even some of these guys in the top 10 through the first day, they're having some trouble with this course. And then you just go down and see some of these unexperienced guys at this course and kind of with these conditions really struggling to find any sort of success out there.
Right now, 19 under par, and 33 players even are under par. So, golf course has kind of won.
Yeah, no, it has, and we'll see if that continues over the next 3 days, and see kind of what the pin locations and different things look like to kind of change the way that this course is playing, and if they want to make it hard, if they want to kind of try to give the players a little bit of an advantage going forward. I think we're in store for some really fun golf the next couple of days, especially if we get this leaderboard throughout the weekend.
Jason's Deli wants me to just thank everyone out there last weekend. Truly, record bulk strawberry shortcake came out of Jason's Deli last weekend for a lot of the Easter great lunches, and a lot of people in town for the holidays. You have the big meal kind of at home, but a lot of people want to go out and get out and go somewhere else, either that Friday or Saturday night, and they did last weekend in Jason's Deli. They really realized it. They were closed last Sunday for Easter, but they'll be back open this Sunday, and we'll invite everybody after church to come by, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli, whether to dine in, getting it to go, or getting it delivered. Wholesome food forever. That's their mantra, and that's what they deliver. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Jason's Deli, all about choice. Whether you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, or healthy kids meals, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli, where you can build your own sandwich. You'll be delighted there with plenty of organic food to choose from as well. Healthy. They were healthy before it was cool. Great salad bar. Over 30 items just from the salad bar in all these locations at Ridgeway Road, at Poplar and Highland, down in Olive Branch, and out in Cordova. You can prepare it however you would like. If you'd like to order the salads off the menu, well, you can. Like my favorite, the taco salad, or the Mesa chicken salad, the nutty mixed up salad. They've got the great food, and they've got a location near you. I guarantee it. across from MUS at Park Place on Ridgeway, by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova. Catering anytime, anywhere, 5 or 5,000, and always in all those locations, the complimentary free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
The last thing I wanted to bring up before we get to this final break, this story that broke earlier this afternoon about the DOJ opening an antitrust investigation on the NFL over their TV deals. This comes from the ESPN story. It says the Justice Department has begun an investigation into whether the NFL has violated anti-competitive practices with its television contracts that require customers to pay subscription costs to watch some games, sources confirmed to
Get them,
ABC
DOJ.
News.
Get them.
That is a wild headline to see on the front page of ESPN.
And the NFL, they don't want to be burdened with this. Watch a lot of the streaming and get a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, no, and that's the big question, because it is, and I've seen people.
All these stadiums have been built with public money, and then you're going to do people like that.
Yeah, and it's there are real back and forth about it, and disagreements and arguments about kind of what side people fall on, because these subscriptions, the amount of money that they're asking people to pay to watch these games is insane.
What was that number last year to get everything? What would you have had to spend?
I don't know the exact.
Wasn't
number,
it like $1,600?
It was certainly over 1,000. I know that for sure. I know it's always posted out there. I try not to look at it because sometimes I can't stomach the amount. But also, I do understand the other side of the argument of, when have you ever been able to
free.
Exactly? When have you ever been able to just watch every single game for free? It's out there to if you want to buy it.
I guess you did with the antenna.
I guess so, but was that every game? Were you?
But you had to buy the antenna.
Sure, I mean, but it costs something to get these games, and I get it. You've got to pay, but if we could get a little more reasonable, I would love that, because it's,
and you're right. The real argument on one side is nothing's free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, maybe we can find some middle ground where it's still going to cost you something, but it isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg, almost quite literally, to watch these games, because it is, the king of sports. It's the Shield. It's bigger than everything else. And so for a while, they've been able to just say, this is our price. You're either going to buy it or you're not going to buy it. And so
we move on without you.
That's right. And so it is interesting to see the Justice Department kind of step in and maybe take a closer look at what's going on. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Mo's Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Come on and let the good times roll, y'all. Or as we say in Louisiana, laissez le bon temps rouler. The Orleans in the Ville with our made-from-scratch red beans, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, and made-fresh daily muffaladas, right here in Collierville. Eat, drink, and stay for dessert like our homemade bread pudding with warm bourbon sauce. Monday through Friday, meat and two with homemade veggies, so good you bring your mom and them. Brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Right here, the Orleans in the Ville, 336 New Byhalia Road. Where great food, live music, and endless fun meet.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
This is Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors. I have worked with Sheldon Rosengarten for over 10 years and have noticed something about the way he works with his clients. He is way too honest, and they are grateful for us for pointing out things they were not aware of.
This is Sheldon, and yes, being honest has caused people to really think about what they need to do to sell their homes or when they buy. Kelly and I have advised people about what are the best and most economical things to do to prepare their homes for the market to get the best prices.
And Sheldon, we always provide our buyers with the necessary background research to advise them before they make an offer on a house. And yes, we have even sometimes talked clients out of buying, and they're grateful for us pointing out things they were not aware of.
So if you're thinking of buying a home, call or email Kelly or me, and before you list your home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure we are one of them.
Yes, remember to call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
And when you want the job done, call Sheldon at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. Call us today.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never come
Saturday, May 2nd, Davis Wade Stadium.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Dijon and J.R. Carroll. Tickets on sale Friday at 11 a.m. at ZachBryan.com. Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
Memphis, if you've been in a car accident, money is on the line. Medical bills, lost pay, your future. NST fights for this city and has for over 35 years, winning big for Memphis families. The call is free, no fee unless we win. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Run, Lindsay!
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries, its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee. Goodbye!
It's obviously Crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com, it's your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, what I learned today from Fred Smith's company to Fred Smith the recruit, it was a good day for the University of Memphis and their athletic programs. In this morning, we got the news that FedEx, they strengthened their relationship with Memphis, and every time, starting in August, that a Memphis team takes the field, takes the court, plays in competition, there will be a FedEx patch on that uniform. All 19 men's and women's teams will have that FedEx patch again starting in August, which will be a lot of fun to see. And then this afternoon, we learned that Fred Smith Jr., the Briarcrest star who has won 2 state championships back-to-back, Mr. Basketball in the state of Tennessee, he committed to the University of Memphis, a 4-star prospect ranked number 88 in the country. And now the big question is, what will his role be as a freshman? And I really don't know. I tried to go back and look over the last 5 years. The player ranked number 88 in the country. What did they do for their team? Well, not much. But the big but there is all 5 of the previous number 88 players in the country went to high major programs. They were 4-star. They went to big schools where they had a lot of guys playing in front of him. The one thing I know about Fred Smith Jr. is there are going to be a lot of fans wanting to see him out there on the court. And maybe we see him early. Maybe he is a vital part of next year's basketball team.
What was Cello Jackson's rank?
Cello was a little lower. I think he was in the 100s. I'm not sure off the top of my head what his rank
we know that can get nebulous.
Sure. No, it definitely can.
88 could be 28, or it could be 148.
I mean, Keaton Wagler, who is going to be a lottery pick, he was like 130th in the class. So
Carl Scherenfein.
Yeah, well, that's another one. Yes, that's the good and the bad of it.
I think he was 132, right in there with Wagler.
That's right. Yeah, they're right there neck and neck. Wow. 2 very different careers after that.
I learned today that I loved hearing the voice of Chris Schenkel, the old Hoosier, my first voice of college football, and he forever was the voice of did the narration of every one of the Masters kind of highlight reels from the year before. And in the 70s, he had such esteem for Coach Frank Broyles. The Razorbacks announcer got killed during the season in the 70s in an automobile accident. Chris Schenkel would fly into Little Rock every Sunday and host the Frank Broyles Show.
Wow. Holy cow.
For the rest of that year.
Wow, that is incredible. Wow. Well, what I could have done without today, Brett, and this really isn't like something bad. Like I know usually we kind of talk about negative things with what I could have done without. It's really negative, I guess, if you're a New York Mets fan, but this one I should have used as my big number if I didn't have another big number in place. I learned earlier today this very important fact about Connor Griffin's 9-year contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
$140 million.
$140 million. That's a lot of money. Do you know the year that runs out? He signed through what year? Do you know that off the top of your head? You shouldn't know. I mean, it's no. I guess, math, but I'm not quick at math. 2034. Bobby Bonilla is signed through 2035. The Mets will still be paying Bobby Bonilla after Connor Griffin, who just signed a 9-year deal, will be paid by the Pittsburgh Pirates. That is just crazy.
Bobby Bonilla gets a check for the rest of time.
He really does.
I could have done without this. The Cardinals 7-5 with everyone but me not thinking much of this team. Everybody's saying they're going to finish last in the National League Central. They're doing this without a single former All-Star on the team. They're one of only 3 teams in baseball.
That's crazy.
No, they're the only team. Even the Rockies and the White Sox have one. The Cardinals, they don't have an all-star, and they don't have any player from the 2010s.
Wow, that is crazy stuff. Where are you beaming tonight?
Augusta National, 36-hole cut tomorrow. Top 50 in ties. No 10-stroke rule. That went out in 2020.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun at the Masters. But beam me tonight to this game we talked about earlier. Celtics and Knicks on Prime. Should be a big one, important for both of those teams. But that is one of 2 games on Prime tonight. The later one, Lakers and Warriors. So it's going to be fun with the basketball, but everybody's going to be talking about the Masters.
Live from the Masters, a lot to go over. And in New York, in Queens, the baseball, Arizona and the Mets. And in Madison Square Garden, the Celtics and the Knicks.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun tonight with the baseball, with the basketball, with the Masters. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.